It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, back at it. Great to have you guys along for the ride. A little 3-hour lazy river, Rothman and Ice. Hop in the raft. We don't know where we're going, but we'll find our way there eventually. Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and the loose cannon rewiring all the electrical circuits in the control room. How you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good, brother. I'm feeling good. It's good to be back in studio after a nice weekend. Thanks again to the wonderful team up there, AR. Fire Station 111 in Westerville did a tremendous job of hosting us for the Beat the Heat
What if we would have just showed up today?
They said we're welcome anytime.
I know, but no one believes that. So
Yeah,
I'm wondering if we would have just showed up with our equipment.
I'm glad that you said that because it is one of those things where it's like where you tell a friend or a family member, like, hey, you just come over whenever you want, whatever you need. I got you. It's kind of like I'm saying that, but I don't really mean that. Like you're welcome every once in a while, but you don't need to be popping up every week. I think that's what they meant up there. They were great hosts. They did an awesome job. I don't think they want us there 5 days a week. If we show up maybe once or twice a year, they'd be on board with that. But I know when I tell people that, I mean well by it, but I don't really mean exactly what I'm saying. Okay. Does that make me a bad person? Or are you the same way?
I'm trying to be honest here. No, I'm fairly genuine when I say let's get together.
Okay.
But things do become different priorities for people. Life happens, things get busy, and there's just not enough time. And I know that's probably the biggest excuse.
Yeah.
But you have your own life. You have your own relaxation time. You have your own little circle. It's tough to kind of make room for the things you want. And you're the big guy on let's advance past the offseason. It's over now.
Listen,
football's here. And I'm like, no. Like, I actually enjoy an offseason. Like,
I'm glad you brought that up because what is today's date, my friend?
It's almost July 1st.
Today is June 30th.
And I told you how to do the math game, with the knuckles.
Yeah, that was
January,
great.
February, March, April, May, June, July. So the knuckles are the 31 days.
And then you said, if you keep running your mouth, I'll give you a knuckle sandwich.
That's right.
That's what you told me. But we are exactly, according to my math, which is not good. So I need you guys to correct me on this.
All right.
I believe we are exactly 2 months away from Ohio State and Texas kicking off.
Oh, I thought this was going to be a Big Brother countdown.
No, that's right around the corner. That's just a few days away. I think that's July 10th. But if the math is mathing for me, I think I'm right in that, AR. August 30th, game 1, Arch Manning, Steve Sarkisian.
There'd be 31 days in July.
So it's here, brother. Embrace it.
Which means we're 31 days away from the Hall of Fame game. I think it's July 31st this year. Which, holy
Chargers, Lions? No, what is it?
It's Chargers.
Who's playing in that?
No.
Texans?
We had Bears, Texans last year.
I mean, Packers. I'm sorry. The Jets were there.
Right, though.
Wasn't Rot? No, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. But I think you're on to something with the Lions.
I think I'd know this. I'm going to be there.
Here's the Hall of Fame. Chargers, Lions. You got
it. Good call. Good call. But there is no kicking the can down the road.
To push away.
You better embrace it right now, brother, because before you know it, you and I will be doing pregame shows on Saturdays. I said it.
It's unbelievable. Never met anyone. You don't like summer.
No, I don't. It's really the temperatures for me. I am just such a fan of the fall weather. That's really it, A.O.
You're a guy that gets cold. I would think you would love the summer swelter.
It's the sweet spot for me of that 65-degree day where it's like I can wear a hoodie and shorts or T-shirt and pants. And it's not only the weather, it's the sports. It's everything for me. Like, you guys can have the 95 and muggy days. I'm good on it. I'll be inside in the AC.
Well, nobody loves that. I just sacrifice. I'm willing to give that to get some off season and some of that vibe.
It's more of the all season.
It's more of just like
the less work, the lazy river for you. That's what you're looking for.
Actually, in this business, you want content. Like, you want as much as you can get, and football provides that 100%. I'm in on that. But I like the different seasons. Not like physical season. You know what I've named them. cold, wet, and hot. Yeah. But I feel like the sports seasons, I just feel like going through the drafts, going through the playoffs of different sports, going through, I know baseball doesn't move the needle, but you and I both play fantasy baseball. I liked seeing Wimbledon come up now. I like, there's just stuff that makes you feel like there's a little bit of an off season. Because if we were in a climate that we had a true spring, it would feel longer. I think what happens is since we don't dry out, well, we're really not because we get to the storms, but we kind of dry out come June. Now June's over, and it was a very wet, hot month. How hot and wet do you like it? Awfully hot and extremely wet.
Talk about it.
And that's what happened. Making a pot roast. How hot and wet do you like it? And so I feel like now that we're in July, like you just said, you put the countdown on us, and now it does feel like I'm chasing it a little bit.
Countdown.
So I don't want to feel that. But anyway, we had a good weekend. You had a good weekend. We get together, and we had a nice event for my boy Demetrius Stanley and his family, and with his Brave Men Inc. that he started, which is, real men talk about their health. And unfortunately, so tragically, prostate cancer took my best friend. And it was just... but when you get together and you keep his legacy and memory alive, and it's just fun now to be able to know that he's smiling down upon us. And because when you're all together, that energy is great. Yeah. And so thanks to everybody that got together at the Ridge in Marysville, and my boy Clay Hall, who's the Ranger out there now, Ranger Rick, and Dan, and Justin Kroc, the pro. They're just wonderful people. And I had not been, maybe I was out there 20 years ago. I don't remember, but it's just absolutely beautiful. And it was nice to be out there and to see the guys hanging out together, the guys from the 90s, the guys, to see Joey Galloway and Michael Wiley and Raymond Harris, the Quiet Storm, and to see Michael Redd, who I've known and covered when he was in high school. What a wonderful family he has, and his parents, and that we talked about. And there's so much nostalgia, and it was a great, great thing. The one thing we had happen was that those tents we bring out, the 97 one.
Oh, yeah.
So Scotty Vegas was very nice, goodwill gesture. I needed a couple tents to bring to this event. I had one on a hole that I was on, and then I gave one to another hole. And then, Maddie, we had a little storm come through. Not rain, but wind.
Okay.
And your boy with the T-shirt cannon, that's just a hawk. Well, I'm standing in front of ours, and it starts to lift off. This tent is going to lift off. Where it's going to come down, I have no idea. Yeah. And who knows, I might be going with it like some balloons. And I grab a hold of this thing with my left hand, and Justin's wife, Holly, had it on the other side. And that thing, we were go for launch.
Okay.
And we held that thing down, and it was like, not all heroes wear capes. I felt like that was my Superman moment.
Right.
And then about 10 minutes later, Kevin Lodeman, another former Buckeye back in the 90s, tweets me a picture and says, your other one's in the pond off of 7 or whatever. And so the good news is that was the old trashy one that they were going to replace anyway. Yeah. So I feel like I'm living right a little bit, that it wasn't the new one.
You saved the right one.
Because, Scotty was already telling me how much those things cost, and the pay's going to get docked, and
It's coming out of the Rothman Ice Fund.
I don't think the ICE fund. I think it's right out of the, pre-taxed, right out of the check. And so, but the golf gods were shining. That was the one that was going to go anyway. So now I felt like, now thinking about it, that the Ridge should have just left it in the pond as kind of like a logo, a plaque, if you will. I mean, you could hop in that thing. It might take you down the stream. It was, I showed you the picture, right? Yeah, Scotty tweeted it out. Yeah. So she's a goner. She worked hard for us.
But it was time for her to go anyway. We'll pour one out for her anyway. No, that's awesome, man. I'm glad
guys were great.
I'm glad you guys still get together and do that and honor D. I know how much he meant to you and his teammates and all of that stuff. So that's awesome to hear, man. TLC, how was your weekend? By the way, for the folks that are on YouTube right now, TLC has on one of the best shirts I've seen ever this year, because Paul Keels is usually known for those style of shirts around here, but he's kind of got the Hawaiian shirt vibe going on, but with the Pittsburgh Pirates remix to it. And as a Reds fan, I don't love it, but it's clean. It's a good looking shirt, TLC. I like what you got going on today.
Thank you. And it was free 99. So as you like to say, if it's free, it's me.
It's free, it's me, baby.
This was a pretty good giveaway by the Pirates back however many years ago.
Yeah.
It was just Hawaiian theme night. They have all these goofy nights. It's light, it's breathable, and you know what? When
Light, it's breathable,
hey,
washable.
man.
Hey, talk about it.
Hey, it could be multiple seasons. It could be hot and wet. Okay, so this is for the hot. And you know what? When the Pirates trounced the Mets 30-4 across 3 games, there aren't that many times where I'm going to feel so inclined to wear this. Yeah. But the Monday after that sweep, I'm in.
It's a victory Monday. I see the vision.
So it has a little lounge lizard kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, I like it.
Like maybe in like 20 years from now, you could still put that on and slither into some lounge and be a big hit with the ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Like I feel like it's got that vibe. And then the other thing, because I had put the Mets in the pressure cooker a couple of weeks ago, and maybe it was even last week when their rotation's just been decimated, the Pirates sweeping them. I thought you wore it in memory of Dave Parker.
That as well, because
the Cobra.
He's going into the Hall of Fame on July 27th, and it's such a shame that the timing of it didn't work out for him to be in Cooperstown, because he's somebody that a lot of people thought should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. And, you know, I didn't watch him play in the 70s, but I certainly know the way that people speak about him and have spoken about him. So really a shame that Dave Parker wasn't able to make it to Cooperstown. And especially when the window was less than a month, you're like, dang, man, like it could have worked out. But I don't know what eventually it was, but I know he's been struggling with Parkinson's for a number of years. So unfortunate ending to that story. But I am looking forward to seeing whichever of his family members are going to be representing him.
Yeah, less than a month before the induction. Like that's
tough.
That's
tough. And who knows whether he would have been okay to even go. I don't know. But you're right. Hall of Famer, could mash, defensively very good. Hall of Fame for both the Pirates and the Reds.
Great arm.
And his arm was certainly, when I was a little kid, first of all, great nickname. The Cobra is ridiculously good nickname. And he could literally, I remember, throw somebody out at third base on a fly from the warning track and right. Like, that's how good his arm was. And he played for, the We Are family. I mean, it's just the whole deal. 7-time All-Star, 2-time champ. And did I ever tell you that? I think I did tell you this, that Sister Sledge, a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, got married years ago in Chicago. And her family was fairly wealthy. And it was in Chicago. And they hired Sister Sledge to perform at the wedding. It was the We Are family was there.
That check looked like.
I don't know. It may have been an O's the Mentalist type of tab.
You want O's to perform at your wedding reception, $150K.
$150.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
It's a great story. That's cool. Probably an awesome wedding. That's for sure.
It was pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
All right. We got a lot to do today. We'll have Jeremy Birmingham on at 12:30. We'll talk Buckeyes and recruiting. Nice little fun brand new jacket conversation coming your way at 2 o'clock in the deep dive with Charlie Coyle. And we'll find out everything about him and how he fits into this team and what he's looking forward to. So don't miss that. We'll talk a little NBA. Cavs making moves. A lot going on in the NFL. But we'll come back with the Buckeyes, and it's reinvestment time. How much is the going rate for a repeat? We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teens require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Dick's epic 4th of July sale is on. Get summer ready with 25% off select Stanley drinkware. Get 20% off Igloo coolers and water bottles and select bog bags. Buy one, get one 50% off DSG coolers, canopies, chairs, and water bottles. $200 off Callaway AI smoke irons and TaylorMade QI10 drivers. These deals won't last. Stock up for summer now, in-store or online at Dicks.com. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Seller, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Seller on Selmo Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondseller.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Cheer on your Redlegs when they battle the Miami Marlins July 7th through the 10th. Don't miss another Budweiser 3-2-1 Tuesday featuring $3 beers, $2 hot dogs, and $1 ice cream cups. Plus, on Thursday, July 10th, rock out with country music act Old Dominion when they take the field for an Ohio Lottery post-game concert free to fans with a game ticket. Visit Reds.com/tickets today.
Hello, Big Voice Guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the fans' YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. Strike. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
As we celebrate Independence Day this week, we need to celebrate and protect our students' freedom to learn. Public education is the foundation of a strong democracy. When we remember our American history, both the good and the bad, our students grow as critical thinkers who can write themselves into the history books of tomorrow.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Chances of showers and thunderstorms very similar to the last several days into the afternoon and early evening, some which could be on the stronger side. Afternoon highs getting into the upper 80s and still muggy conditions. For tonight, we'll see chances of showers and storms and early lows down into the 70s. And for Tuesday, the best chances for showers and storms will be the first half of the day and our highs in the mid to upper 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1, The Fan.
Indeed you are. Thanks, Al.
Hey, we got some goodies to hand out today, Big Dog, again, because the winner will receive a family 4-pack of tickets to the Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals, July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center. Check out over 6,000 of the country's coolest hot rods, muscle cars, trick trucks, customs, and more on display. See which ride take home the crown of the Good Guys 2025 Classic Instrument Street Rod and PPG Street Machine of the Year. Passes are good for one of the days. For more information, visit goodguys.com. Again, visit goodguys.com. We will hand out a family 4-pack of tickets today to the Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals.
And I just got an email, so I believe we are giving away for the next 3 days, not today, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Cardale Jones softball game tickets.
Good deal.
There we go.
So,
lots to look forward to.
Back in, this for years, they would always say for really good athletes that went to college, have a backup plan. Because the old phrase was 1 in a million are going to make it as a pro athlete, really make it.
Yeah.
And there was always, what's your backup plan? Get an education, get your diploma, figure out what's going to go happen if you get injured. There was always that plan. And I'm not saying these guys don't have a backup plan still. But imagine being a top athlete now in high school and getting paid NIL money for your potential. Not even have to make it. Just getting paid for your potential. And then getting to a university and being able to leverage other universities against others.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could do that before, based on your athletic ability. 5 schools wanted you, but your leverage was different. You were either being devious about it, and the schools that wanted you were being devious about it, and everything was under the table.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to make your family happier, buy your dad a new car, or try to find out a way to get you something through something else, stuff was done. You can't be naive. It's been happening for a while. But now the level of it and the allowance of it is certainly money that no one can relate to. It's very difficult to be able to relate to the amount of money that is being thrown at athletes before they're even established guys, before you know whether they'll have a major impact. You're rolling the dice. The good part about it, if there is a good part about it, is that like any company, you'd love them to reinvest in the company. Mm-hmm. You'd love management to have a stake in the company and not just take high salaries, right? And it's kind of the old phrase is, well, if management doesn't have stake in the company, then it's not a team. There's nothing about it. And I feel like with this new era, Ohio State they saw the results. And I think that's not that they wouldn't do this before, Maddie. They would always try. Their emotions and the passion, the fan base, everything is into making Ohio State football the best team it can be. But I feel like now that they've climbed the top of the mountain in this new era, that the reinvestment part of it is real. And it's even more than it would have been before because now you have the results. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is throw money after something when you've not been able to get there. And now that Ohio State has, because the story is that, they won last year's national title with a roster that was $20 million, that paid out $20 million. And that this year, $20 million wouldn't even sniff what they have to pay based on the reinvestment.
Yeah, no doubt. And the Wall Street Journal put out an article this weekend about Ohio State and just the landscape of college athletics, specifically football and basketball, where the money is. And it's through the roof. And like you said, the sticker shock for a lot of people is going to be there. For me, that's kind of becoming numb to it just a little bit because it's just the world that we live in, and we've taken a few laps around the track with this NIL money and all that stuff, that it doesn't really blow me away. But the upping of the money by tens of millions per year is going to be surprising to some people. So the Wall Street Journal, as you just laid out, is reporting that Ohio State will be spending about $35 million on their roster this year. For the highest paying football programs around the country, they're all going to be paying $30 to $35 million. There was a report, I believe, this offseason that Texas is spending maybe north of that in the $40 million range. This is the keeping up with the Joneses part of this that you have to do if you're an elite program. And the reason why their payrolls are going to be so high is because of the elite talent that they have and the retaining of the talent that you're talking about specifically for Ohio State. When you think about guys like Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs and maybe some of the conversations they were having this year with both Ohio State or maybe some other programs or whatever that were trying to poach them from Columbus. That's just how the game works. So when you are Texas, Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, pick your big-time programs around the sport, you're going to be in this conversation for spending the most money because you have dudes. You have the dudes, and they know what their worth is. What's going to be interesting about this, AR, is are we going to see similar numbers as far as these $35 million, $30 million for rosters when we get to these schools sharing their annual revenue with these athletes, because we know they're going to have that $20.5 million kind of cap, if you will, to spread out. How does that look then? That's going to change, obviously, but the impact of that money going that way, going south more than north and where it's headed right now, is going to be interesting to see. But when I saw that report this weekend, AR, it wasn't surprising to me to see that Ohio State has to spend $30+ million on their rosters anymore. It's just what you got to do.
It's pretty amazing that we're at this point. And I agree with you that it could come back a hair, but I don't know how. Because I still don't understand, Maddie, that since they have this clearinghouse, and that there's supposedly going to be that these NIL deals are going to actually have to match up to some degree, that these guys are actually endorsing what they're getting paid to do. But wouldn't that the only judge of that would be the people paying the money, I would think. So maybe the actual endorsement deals, because I don't think, and I could be wrong, if the schools have this $18 million or $18.5 million.
$20.5 million.
Yeah, but I think it's 18.5 based on, there's another little stipulation on it. But either way, it's very close.
On the surface, the number that's been reported is 20.5, right.
And so what I don't really know yet, and maybe you guys can help me, is that if I want to just, my deal, the Keep the Kids Happy Fund.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I view that as. That
number that we're talking about.
What the schools can pay the players, they're not paying them to endorse stuff.
Right. So they're
just giving them a piece of the pie that they can give them. Are you allowed? My point is, are you allowed to say? Because I had this discussion with Davies, and we'll have it even more later on because it's going to be a longer discussion. Do you pay? Because you could make the argument that $20.5 million should go to the teams of the sports that don't get the big NIL deals. That if Ohio State's really interested in the Olympic sports and keeping that pride and feeding those teams and helping those athletes out, the ones that don't get these deals.
But then you're going to have a problem with the athletes, that being the football and the basketball program, because they're going to say, we're the reason why revenue is where it is.
Well, that's when Ross Bjork, I feel, at that presser, designated right out of the gate, these are the four. These are the ones that we're prioritizing. And then when you get within those teams, like football, do you just tell the star quarterback, star receiver, star safety,
here's $2 million,
or you got plenty?
See,
we're going to take care of more of the regular starters, if there's such a thing.
I don't think that's how it's going to work, but I don't know. I think
you'd be afraid to lose the big time talent,
right? And you're going to get them whatever they want.
So in the case of the rich getting richer, it's not just the schools; it's the players within those programs that are already making millions in NIL.
Correct.
They're going to want their big slice of the 20.5.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you were asking off the top there was, can they double dip? Can you get, let's say...
I think they can. My point is, of the $20.5 million that they have to spend on their athletes, do they have to do anything for that money?
Show up on Saturdays and ball.
That's my point.
Job.
I think that that the clearinghouse is more in line with the NIL endorsement work.
I'm curious as well, to go along with what you're thinking, is if I'm Jeremiah Smith, of that $20.5 million, let's say I get $3 million of that.
Or can I demand.
Right. Can I also go do business with Mercedes-Benz
100%,
and McDonald's and double dip this too?
I'm sure you can. I'm just wondering if Ohio State has this pot of gold that they can allot to certain athletes. Do the athletes have to do anything for that money, similar to the NIL deals that the clearinghouse is going to be overseeing?
Some of those guys can say, I've already done enough work to get the money.
This could be the ultimate reward bucks. I'll ask Jeremy Birmingham in 2 minutes, get his opinion on it. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
SoFi Personal Loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi Personal Loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
With over 33 years of experience, Newman Roofing has become a household name in Central Ohio. Voted best roofing company 4 years in a row, Newman Roofing delivers a white glove experience every time. When it comes to your roof, call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
This 4th of July, Bob's Discount Furniture is bringing back 4 for the 4th. Spotlighting 4 must-have trendsetters for $7.99 and under, like my farmhouse chic Calvin bedroom. Plate A sectional with pop-up sleeper and hidden storage. Consumer Reports recommended treasure mattress. And my 5-star Betty dining set in 4 gorgeous colors. So stop in or visit mybobs.com and celebrate 4 for the 4th. Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
The Columbus Zoo invites you to follow the footsteps and the tales of animals from around the world. Explore our newest region, North America Trek. So what are you waiting for? Get your tail to our trails only at your Columbus Zoo.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony used to ski in his jeans? Are you serious? No, he's not from New Jersey. Back to Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it. Ohio State reinvesting in the product, the price of doing business, the going rate for a repeat. Here we are. Got to keep up, and everybody's trying to keep up with Ohio State now as the current champs. Jeremy Birmingham, Buckeye Huddle, and The Beat right here on The Fan and 10 TV Plus. Great to have you, Berm. How you been?
Doing fine. How are things in the old 614?
Outstanding. The off season is cruising by. Maddie wants this to be August 30th, like tomorrow. I'm willing to have some hype and build up because I think that's what makes our jobs fun. But before we get to the hype and build up of a possible repeat, what is your understanding of where we are in this NIL collective programs can pay their own players era? Are you of the understanding that this, let's just call it $20 million, that the schools can allot to certain athletes? Is that just reward bucks, Berm, or does something have to be associated with that, like a NIL type situation, or is that completely separate from NIL deals, and that's just money that they can choose who to keep happy?
That is separate, and it's not $20 million. So when we had a conversation with Ross Bjork a few weeks ago at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, the conversation pretty much went from it's $20.5 million down to $18 million because the $2.5 million per year is being paid to former players. Mm-hmm. And then it's $18 million being divided amongst 4 sports at Ohio State. So it's football, basketball for men, women's basketball, women's volleyball. So then Ohio State's football cut of that, from what I've gleaned and from what people have suggested to me, is that it's going to be roughly around $14 million for the Ohio State football program. That is essentially then, I think the plan as it stands currently for Ohio State is to take that $14 million and divide it by roughly 10, which is 10 position groups on the football field. Therefore, each position group should have a budget of $1.4 million a year that Ohio State is going to be able to pay directly to those players. Then any outside NIL opportunities that players earn in their time at Ohio State from their name, image, and likeness is going to have to be vetted by Deloitte and the NIL Go Clearinghouse for any deal over $600. And those deals can be however much money those players can make. So Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downses of the world, they're going to make a whole lot more than, a guy coming into his first year. But the issue that we're running into, and specifically was pretty much put in the spotlight this weekend, is that there are a number of schools around the country who are still using their current NIL collectives to front load massive deals to avoid the NIL Go Clearinghouse before it begins, which on tomorrow. So that's you've seen a rush of recruitments over the last 2 weeks, and it seems like a lot of schools are impressing upon recruits that they better commit before July 1st, otherwise they lose an opportunity to get some free money.
Okay. Speaking of commitments, Ohio State this weekend got a couple commitments, specifically, Berm, on that defensive line. Talk about Larry Johnson, Matt Patricia, the defensive coaches, and what they've been able to bring into Columbus on down there in the trenches.
Yeah, it's two big additions. Unfortunately, we're in a world where Ohio State recruiting, there's so much attention paid to the misses. But this weekend, the Buckeyes did add two defensive tackles, two high-ceiling guys. Damari Simeon, a four-star defensive tackle, 6'3", 275 from New Jersey on Friday night. And then Cameron Brickle, a 6'2.5", 300-pound defensive tackle from the IMG Academy, originally from Malvern, Pennsylvania, on Saturday afternoon. So those two are stocking the interior of the line, and that's what the Buckeyes need. They need versatility. For me, Brickle is really interesting. He's a kid who started his high school career at Malvern Prep in Pennsylvania as a freshman, transferred out to California as a sophomore, went back to Malvern Prep as a junior, and now he's down at the IMG Academy in Florida for his senior year. So I think he's kind of fallen through the cracks a little bit in the recruiting profile side of things because he's had such inconsistency in his life. But if you've cut the tape on, he looks like a Geno Atkins type of defensive tackle to me, and I think it might be a steal for Ohio State down the road. But clearly the trenches, you have to win there. The Buckeyes are still struggling to win on the edge of the defensive line. That's a problem that people are certainly clamoring for some answers to. But beyond that, it's Larry Johnson knows what he wants, and the Buckeyes have to find a way to get it.
Berm, you've covered this for a while. It's a weird era, right? Because back in the day when covering recruiting, it would be like you'd give all the praise to the position coaches and the guys that really got a foothold into the families and created relationships over time. Have you been able to kind of get a handle on why you get a guy and why you miss a guy? And Ohio State's Ryan Day, I've heard Coach Diebler say it on the basketball side that if money's the first priority for a kid, that they're willing to move on from that kid, and that they've had such success that they can afford to really tout the character of the program and the culture of the program. Where are you in when Ohio State misses on a big guy? Do you feel like it's more money, or where are you on it recruiting now?
I mean, I think unfortunately what Ryan Day and Jake Diebler have really focused on is correct. Like if money's the first issue, that player is almost never going to Ohio State. Now, what we've found and seen in the last couple of weeks, especially when it comes to defensive end recruiting, because Ohio State has missed out on its top two targets at defensive end in the last 2 weeks between Luke Wafel and Carter Meadows, who went to USC and Michigan, respectively. If money is the last conversation, it's also not great because the fact is Ohio State is not – because Ross Bjork has been at the forefront of the CSC and the new way of doing business and the new NIL era, and been very involved in those groups that have been designing this, it is really hard for Ohio State to turn around and say, okay, now let's do things the old way while we can. And the other schools are doing things the old way while they can. And so what we've seen is Ohio State be right there at the 1 yard line with these top recruits in the last couple of weeks, and then the gap between what Ohio State is saying we can guarantee you this, and what other schools are saying we're going to give you this right now, is significant, and so that has caused some losses. You don't want to. It comes across as sour grapes when you say everything is NIL, but it is a major part of the puzzle, and as long as there are still basically no rules and no guidelines or no repercussions for people breaking the rules, you're going to see teams take advantage of it. Ohio State is just not. So the things that matter, the relationships, all those things get you to that final conversation. And if the money gap at the end is 7-figure difference. There's no way Ohio State's going to win it.
Berm, who is a guy, when you look at the outlook for the 2025 squad and you say, he isn't a household name yet, but this guy's, he's got the goods. Maybe he's got a little bit of playing time over the last year or two, and maybe he's got to now step up into a full-time role. Who is a Buckeye over there that isn't a household name that you think has a chance to be that a few games into the season?
Let me clarify. Do you mean household name in Columbus amongst Ohio State fans or nationally?
Let's go nationally.
To me, it's got to be Arvel Reese. I'm on record as saying I think he will be the second Ohio State player drafted in next year's NFL draft. I think he will be a Butkus finalist this year. I think Arvel Reese, from the way that people talk about him in that building, is pretty special. And I think that there is no way the season is a success for Ohio State if Arvel Reese isn't a superstar. So I think he's in a position to do that. He's finally settled into a position after 2 years of moving around and trying to figure out where he's fitting. The addition of Matt Patricia, what he can do for the linebackers, now that you have Sonny Styles and Arvel Reese and, maybe Peyton Pierce out there as a trio, I think is going to really open up some things for Arvel to just get really aggressive. And he is a certified freak. And so that's the guy to me that makes or breaks this defense, honestly, moving into the 2025 season. And I think he'll become a national name because of it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. We've thrown out his name a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. I think you're definitely on it, my man. Thanks for jumping on with us. We'll be listening. Thanks for the time.
I'll do it, guys. Thanks. See you.
Jeremy Birmingham, Buckeye Huddle, and The Beat here on The Fan and 10 TV Plus. He was on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. It is Monday. We come back with Party Like a Roth Star in moments. Rothman and Ice on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $494 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Hey, it's Austin Ward here. Did you jump into Awaken 180's Lose 40 by the 4th offer? If you did, wasn't it simple? People think losing weight has to be difficult, but it really isn't if you have the right plan, the right support, and if you're eating to lose weight. If you missed 40 by the 4th, no worries. There's plenty of summer left to hit your goals. Barbecues, golf, pool parties, all included with Awaken 180 weight loss. Start today and start dropping weight your very first week. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Dick's epic 4th of July sale is on. Get summer ready with 25% off select Stanley drinkware. Get 20% off Igloo coolers and water bottles and select bog bags. Buy one, get one 50% off DSG coolers, canopies, chairs, and water bottles. $200 off Callaway AI smoke irons and TaylorMade QI10 drivers. These deals won't last. Stock up for summer now, in-store or online at Dicks.com. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Common Man and Timmy.
Just got a text from 10 TV's Adam King, who says he's with me on pancakes 100%.
You feel
and now
the
I'm
exact
starting
same way.
to doubt myself.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by Hinderer Motorsports.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Let's all gather into the Kiki. It's time to party like a Roth star.
Indeed. So many great ones, Maddie. All right. Who's leading off?
You do the honor. The floor is yours.
I will go. All right. I'll start baseball. Aaron James Judge. 7-time All-Star, 2-time AL MVP. Went yard twice yesterday. That gives him 30 on the season. But the historic standing is pretty amazing. Just past the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig, for the most multi-homer games in Yankee franchise history. So he's got 44 of those. That puts him 2 games behind Mickey Mantle. And remarkably, 24 games back of who else but Babe Ruth. So 5 straight 30-plus homer seasons. He can roll out of bed and hit 30. But 5 straight 30s is the 3rd longest streak in Yankee history since 1950. So the only longer streaks are Mantle. He did it 8 years in a row. And actually, A-Rod did it 7 times. You add Mark McGwire to the mix, and Judge and McGwire, only 2 guys to hit 30-plus before an All-Star break 4 times. And entering Saturday... or Sunday. This is post-Sunday. I just looked up his stats. He's hitting .356.
That's the most impressive.
So that's first. Yeah. He's got 30 dingers. That's third. 67 ribbies, tied for 6th. And his OPS is first. So there's a long way to go, but it seems very plausible that Judge wins his 3rd MVP in 4 years. That's where we are. His wins above replacement is like a ridiculous, like 5.7. And those numbers are just ridiculous. But him just swatting 2, and I think it was against the A's, so he could probably do that one-handed. But Aaron James Judge continuing to be the most dangerous hitter in the game.
And he just makes it look so easy. Or like he really does. The average is the most impressive part. This isn't one of those boom or bust power hitters. Like, you can get it multiple ways from Aaron Judge if you're a pitcher. Singles, doubles, triples, home runs. He's got it all in his bag. I love that you shine the light on 99. All rise. First candidate for me this week. Look, they frustrate the heck out of me sometimes, but I got to give them their flowers right now. It's my Cincinnati Reds. Last week.
Print the flowers?
No, they took 2 of 3 from the New York Yankees. This weekend, they took 2 of 3 from the San Diego Padres. The aforementioned Aaron Judge, that's the ultimate star power. Then you got to deal with Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and that star power coming from the left coast too. But the Reds are doing their thing. I got to give it to them. Currently 2.5 games back in the NL wild card race. The offense in the National League has been really good this year. They're 5th in the NL in home runs with 91 dingers. 5th in the NL as well in RBIs. And their starting pitchers are doing their part. You got to think, Hunter Green's been hurt a couple times, and that starting pitching staff still ranks 10th in the NL in quality starts. The Major League Baseball trade deadline is July 31st. Nick Kroll, it's time to get active, big dog. Let's make some moves. Let's push our chips in and make this roster even better if we can. Cincinnati Reds. Look, you take 2 or 3 from the Yankees and the Padres. You win a couple series against some really good teams. I got to give you some love. Reds are partying like a raw star right now.
I'll go to the course. And let me see what he did this weekend as far as numbers go. A guy named Aldrich Potgeeter. I was watching this tournament, the Rocket Mortgage.
Sounds like a name from the Harry Potter world.
He's a South African. He was 110-1 before this tournament, the event in Detroit. Young kid, Matty, only 20. Big boy.
Yeah.
Big South African. Exempt status now because he was top 30 on Korn Ferry last year. He had only made 3 of the 12 cuts coming into this week in Detroit. He had a 2-shot lead going into the final round, so about 20 guys could have beaten him. He wound up getting into a 3-way playoff with Max Grazerman, who was 35-1, and Chris Kirk, who was 80-1. And it was an hour of playoff golf, more than an hour, to decide the winner. It was 5 extra holes. And Potgeeter, on his 20th start on tour, poured in a 17-footer on the par 3 to win it. What that does is gets him a spot in the Masters in 2026 and makes him exempt on tour through 2027. Took home $1.8 million of the purse. He's the youngest player on tour. Like I said, he's only 20. And here's the amazing part. He's an animal off the tee. He leads the tour in driving distance, this 20-year-old, 326.6. Wow. That's 6 yards longer than Rory McIlroy. He's 26 yards longer than the tour average. And he just won on tour. So he wasn't long and wrong. He was long and mostly right. Exactly. Hell of a drop there. So Aldrich Potgeeter, 20-year-old
Potgeeter is nuts.
Big fella, wins on the tour, partying like a Roth star. Wow.
Speaking of big fellas, let me talk to you guys about James Wood. James Wood made some history this weekend. If you don't know his name, he plays for the Washington Nationals. The Washington Nationals haven't been doing a ton of winning, so I don't expect you to really know who James Wood is, but I think in time, in the baseball world, this dude will become a household name. This weekend, he was the first player since Barry Bonds to draw 4 intentional walks in a game. And I thought about you, AR, because I figured you probably loved how the Angels were doing business against the Washington Nationals, specifically James Wood. But Bonds did it back in 2004. Barry Bonds that season was intentionally walked 4 times in 4 different games. So this is rare air for James Wood. This dude's an absolute monster. He stands 6'7", weighs about 240 pounds. He is batting this year, 283 with 22 home runs and 64 RBIs. Those home runs and RBIs rank 6th in Major League Baseball. So he's one of the best power hitting bats in the sport. Sunday was his 163rd game in the major leagues. In those first 162 games, he's racked up 31 home runs and 105 RBIs, which puts him in elite company with 2 former Washington Nationals in Bryce Harper and Juan Soto. Through their first 162 games, Bryce Harper cooked up 31 home runs, 77 RBIs. Juan Soto, 31 home runs, 107 RBIs. So you see the company that he's in. The guys around the league clearly fear him and respect him, and he's just an absolute tank in the box, man. He hits dingers and takes a bunch of left turns week in and week out. James Wood for the Washington Nationals, partying like a raw star with the stick in the box.
He does have the stick in the box. 6'7", 235.
Yeah, man, he's a problem.
All right, so in memory of Dave Parker and in honor of TLC wearing the Lounge Lizard Pirates button down.
Yeah, it's a fire shirt.
I'll give it to the Pirates. As he said, they outscored the Mets 30-4 over the weekend.
Yeah, that's good.
Plus 26 run diff. That's tied for 4th best in a 3-game series in club history. It's the biggest differential since they beat the Cubs by 29 runs back in 1975.
Hey.
They had 12 hits in each of the first 2 games, 16 hits on Sunday. They hit 374 in the series, over the series.
Wow.
Brian Reynolds is on a 7-game hit streak. He had multiple hits in 5 of those games. He's batting .419 during the streak with 6 doubles, a couple homers, and 6 ribbies. So let's give it to the Pirates.
Okay.
Maddie's new adopted team.
The Pirates, as I usually call them.
For putting the Mets out of their misery. 30-4 over the weekend.
Last one for me. This is specifically for our boy TLC.
Oh my gosh, what a day!
Double
wait,
dose.
no! I know what's coming. Just kidding.
This is just for our guy, AR.
Just kidding.
Because his favorite women's basketball player on planet Earth is still breaking records. Angel Reese this weekend became the first to have 15-plus rebounds in 4 straight games. They ain't doing a whole bunch of winning, TLC, but she's doing a whole bunch of balling out here. In her last game yesterday against the LA Sparks, Angel Reese, 24 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and a couple blocks. Her last 3 games have been really good. They've won 2 out of their last 3, and she's making history just for you, TLC. Angel Reese for the Chicago Sky.
You know what's funny?
Like a roster.
I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to help you with a little retort on this because I know you don't like her and she had an unbelievable game. So after the game, she said when somebody, can't stop you on the boards, leads to more points for us, and he looks at it a positive. She said she called them me bounds.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that maybe that would make you.
I think she's capitalizing off of me bounds.
That was an internet joke that she is now leaning into.
Yeah.
And so the whole point of the joke is you miss all these layups and just collect your own rebounds, and that's by their me. But
she said she only had 4 O boards, so it wasn't just me bounds tonight.
There have been many times. There have been many times where I've gone on the ESPN app and checked out her box score, and if I see that the rebounds are exceptionally high, I do take a look at those offensive rebounds and see. I can't help it. But I will say, I was at the gym, and they had that game on the TV at the gym, and they put on her stat line, and I was like...
They look good. Her stat line's last 4 games are good.
I'm dead serious. I thought of that and went... I think tomorrow's party like a Roth star. I'm definitely going to hear about this tomorrow.
4 games.
I knew this was coming.
Real quick, her last 4 games, 16 rebounds, 18 rebounds, 17 rebounds, 19 rebounds. Cleaning up on the glass.
Coming up, top of the hour, Sports Center update. We come back with what is being labeled as a blockbuster in the NFL. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Question from a listener. Do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Come into your local AAA Tire and Auto Service and save up to $30 on auto repair with their AAA Triple Play. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Offer valid July 1st through July 31st. See store for details.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
The biggest thriller this summer is blockbuster savings at Coughlin Chevrolet. Lease a new 2025 Chevy Trax for $159 a month. A new 2026 Chevy Equinox, only $259 a month. Or a new 2025 Silverado, lease for $359 a month. This month only at Coughlin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. N63025.
Hey, is that knee, shoulder, hip, that pain in any of your joints not getting better? You're stuck in this cycle where you keep going back to the doctor. They recommend steroid shots. Maybe they recommend surgery, rehab, and all of those things are not working for you. Before you go down the road of the surgery, you'll want to listen to this. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I want to tell you something that helped me a ton. It'll help a lot of other people get their lives back as well. And this is no more meds and not going under the knife. I'm talking about my friends at QC Kinetics, Real Regenerative Medicine. They help your body heal itself. After years of playing professional football, I was beat up. My dad was beat up. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to have any more surgery. So I went to my friends at QC Kinetics, and they took a look at it, and they said, hey, we can help you with your knee. It's not going to be an overnight fix, but they've got protocols and procedures to help get you well without going under the knife. So here's what you do. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. They have offices all over Columbus.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to sponsor the Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat Fan Drive, benefiting Life Care Alliance. You can help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. How can you help? Purchase new box fans and bring them to the nearest Franklin County Fire Station, or you can buy online and ship fans directly to Life Care Alliance. The collection and distribution of fans is to assist residents who are at risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
Central Ohio contractors and homeowners. 3D Cabinetry is your go-to for fast, hassle-free service from order to install. 3D Cabinetry delivers fully assembled all-wood affordable cabinets. Visit 3dcabinetry.net today for your free consultation. That's 3dcabinetry.net.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. NHL free agency gets underway tomorrow. Blue Jackets general manager Don Waddell joined Bishop and Friends earlier and said that they're still trying to get a deal done with Ivan Provorov.
We still have Provorov that we'd love to bring back. We're still in talks up until midnight last night with his agent trying to see if we can bring him back. He's a true pro. He wants to be here. We want him here. Just, we got to agree on a number.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and Miami Dolphins have made a big trade today. The Dolphins sending cornerback Jalen Ramsey, tight end Janu Smith, and a 2027 7th-round pick to the Steelers for safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 2027 5th-round pick. The Cincinnati Reds head to Boston to start a series with the Red Sox at 7:10. Rookie Chase Burns makes his second major league start. Pre-game coverage over on ESPN Columbus gets underway at 6:40.
Anthony finally hit a hole-in-one.
It's in the hole!
So now what? Just bask in the glory?
And that's how she wrote.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Second hour of the program. We'll talk a little Cavs movement with Spencer Davies at 1:30 from Sports Illustrated. We'll get into the Jackets this hour as well with the draft. And this kind of came in out of nowhere. This Jalen Ramsey to the Steelers, Dolphins getting Minkah Fitzpatrick. And so you get a guy that's on the move again as an all-pro corner, which is cool. The Steelers completed this trade, Matty. Was it this morning? Late this morning?
It was late this morning. Yeah. And what was odd to me is we had initially Jalen Ramsey was the one that reported this deal because he threw out a pretty cool video. It was like a split up video of him working out, and then there was some old school Steeler clips in there, like some black and white old school taking you through the years of the history of the Steelers defense, which was awesome. His production team killed it. So that was the initial announcement. Like, okay, Jalen Ramsey's going to Pittsburgh. And then we had to wait a little bit because we were all sitting around like, okay, for what? Like, what's the exchange of draft picks or players or whatever it may be? And then we're all three getting ready for the show, and we see a tweet from Schefter that Minkah Fitzpatrick is in the deal. So this is a player-for-player deal where Jalen Ramsey leaves the 305, comes up to the Steel City, and then Minkah Fitzpatrick now goes back to Miami where he initially was prior to coming to Pittsburgh. So brand names are really strong in this trade between the two. I think when you look at the Pittsburgh side of it, specifically with Minkah, because that's where my mind went. Over the years, this dude has been a really good safety, come down in the box, do some things, physical guy, coverage guy. Like, he can do it all. But I think you dig a little deeper and you get past the name brand that is Minkah Fitzpatrick, and it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. The game is fading just a bit. And so the Steelers are trying to get out in front of this and get off the Minkah Fitzpatrick contract early, because back in 2022, Minkah Fitzpatrick in that season alone had 6 interceptions and 6 pass breakups. Over the last 2 seasons in Pittsburgh, he's only accounted for 1 interception and 6 pass breakups. And so his game seems to be going in the wrong direction. Now you bring in an older corner, because that's what Jalen is. He's a corner north of 30, and you're going to see what you get. And so the Steelers have done this a couple times now in the same offseason at that specific position. At cornerback, they acquired Darius Slay, who is a guy north of 30 that's had some really good years and had a good career. And also now Jalen Ramsey, who's been an all-pro guy and one of the best corners in the league at one point in his career. We'll see what they have left in the tank.
It's a weird trade. It's one of those, I agree with you, from a brand standpoint. They both have big names. Is it borderline shocking? They've not leaned into the rebuild, yet this feels very rebuilding to me. Like,
go
really?
ahead.
Does it?
Well, they're just collecting old people,
I guess.
So I think there is a rebuild at the end of this, but it kind of just seems like to me, and I wish I knew more about the very specifics, because the salary cap stuff about like when they can get out and how much money they'll owe, that stuff's really tough to tell. But getting Janu Smith and Jalen Ramsey, Jalen Ramsey is going to be in his 10th season.
I guess it feels like this. I guess when you get Rodgers and you raise the floor at quarterback, you're giving out the feeling that you still care about being competitive, because they could have not done that. Don't raise the floor. Go with the quarterbacks they have. So you win 6 games, like whatever. But that felt like that move. And maybe it's what I said a couple of weeks ago, which is if you can get them at that price, you'd be foolish not to. You're still in the competing business. Coaches want to prepare their team. They want to win. Players want to be on winning teams. So I get it. But when you dealt away Pickens, it was like, okay, did you deal him because he's a headache, or are you leaning into a rebuild? So my point is, that feels like they still have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and maybe you have to be that way. Maybe that's the reality of it. That you're still the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you're never going to wave the white flag. You're never going to say we're going full rebuild. It just doesn't feel right. But it feels like that Fitzpatrick, who has been a pretty consistent safety over his time, is one of those guys that if you're getting rid of him, it would feel like that you'd be interested in rebuilding.
I think when we talk specifically about the back end of their defense, the defensive back unit, that cornerback room, these moves are telling me that Mike Tomlin and the front office are putting Joey Porter Jr. on notice. That this is a guy that they drafted fairly high. I believe he was a 2nd-round pick a couple years ago. And if you felt really good about him being your no doubt number 1 corner lockdown guy, I don't think you're making this move. And so you're hoping that the tread on the tires of Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey are good enough to where you can take the pressure off of Joey Porter Jr. and allow those guys week in and week out to cover the likes of Jamar Chase and seeing him twice a year and all of those things. On paper, this is now an older defense.
It's hard to understand.
It's an older defense, and as a team, they're fairly old as far as the guys that you're really going to be relying on. Think about the defense. The 2 guys we just mentioned in Slay and Jalen Ramsey, north of 30. Cam Hayward's deep into the back 9 of his career. TJ Watt is a guy that's right there on that kind of back 9-ish vibe, but he's still got some good ball in front of him. And so the Juan Thornhills, with the Deshaun Elliott's, and all these guys are guys that we've seen for a long time. So, one, you're banking on health when you have guys at that age. That's the most important thing, is having the availability of guys that are 30-plus years old week in and week out. But also, you're trying to pair that with now a veteran quarterback that can limit the at-bats of these defensive guys and not have these guys play as much football and be able to move the chains on offense more consistently than the likes of it Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. I think that's what they're banking on here.
Yeah, listen, if I'm the Dolphins and I'm trimming the fat on Jalen and I get Minka, I think that's fine. That doesn't have a horrible feel to me. It feels like a wash. They're both kind of at the back ends. Right? I mean, I can't even tell you who won this trade. I guess the Steelers may have halfway won it.
I do
player
like
for
the
player, but
TLC mentioned the name Janu Smith. That was another move that both Pittsburgh and Miami made today. There were rumblings about that a few weeks ago, that they were trying to get Janu Smith, that being the Steelers, from the Dolphins. They make that official today. I like that move because I think we all thought that they needed more offensive firepower. Last year, Janu Smith was a Pro Bowler. I see the vision with what you can do, and Arthur Smith has worked with him before. They've been together a couple stops in Tennessee and Atlanta. And so now you have DK Metcalf out wide. You'll have two tight ends in Freiermuth and Janu Smith that defenses have to respect. So you can get into those two tight end sets and all of those things. It's good for Aaron. Can open things up on the outside for DK Metcalf. So I like the swing on Janu Smith. That one, to me, I understand. The subtraction of Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey is a bit of a head scratcher for me. But offensively, I think this was a step forward for them because of the player that I think is still good, but also an offensive coordinator in-house that knows how to use said player.
Feels like the Dolphins almost were like, well, we probably shouldn't have traded him back then, so let's get him back.
Want that old thing back.
Like, let's make up for that.
Spit in the block.
Yes, it has that
that's
vibe
what they're
to
doing.
It.
That X gets
he can't
away.
come back to haunt me. If I can get him back.
I've got him. I've got him. Did you see what Raheem Mostert said about all this today?
No.
Raheem Mostert threw out this tweet. Hot take. Be a Pro Bowler on the Dolphins. Get treated like blank. Happy for my guys, though. Go ball out. So he's calling out the Miami front office. He doesn't like how they're doing business right now.
The swap seems like a wash. Like it doesn't have... I agree with you. The Janu is probably the one that tips this to the Steelers.
It's a little spark on offense. I do like that. So, in total, the Steelers get Jalen Ramsey, Janu Smith, and a 2027 7th-round pick from Miami, and the Dolphins get Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 2027 5th-round pick. So, I think if you're a Steeler fan, you don't touch any of the draft capital that you have for next year. You're still going to have the flexibility to go up and get a quarterback if you need it, with a few third-round picks first, second and second-round picks as well. And so for this year, look, you're just saying, let's see what the OG's got. Some household names, and throw something at the wall and see if it sticks.
I'm convinced that people are saying, like even Schefter, people told us, Aaron's not coming back. He's got to go somewhere where he can win. He's got to have that feeling. I'm convinced that Aaron is also convinced that they are not true Super Bowl contenders. That this was more about making peace with the end of my career, having a chance to be in a traditional franchise with a coach that I like and respect, try to write my own ending, whatever that is. Not that he's not playing to try to get there, but it wasn't the be-all, end-all because he didn't have any other choices. This was a good choice. I think when he talked about, I don't know what I'm going to do, retire this or that, it was all depending on where can I write this ending. It wasn't going to be for Tennessee or something that didn't have that vibe. It had to have a little bit of both. It couldn't be straight ceremonial. I just want to play because I want to play, and no one's going to tell me I can't play. And it's also a little bit of, at least I can be competitive in Pittsburgh and have some moments that when I retire, I can say that I did it my way. Matty, I don't think he came back just to win, to see if he could win a Super Bowl. I don't think that's realistic.
I think in a player's mind, they're always going to think that. I also believe that there are 4 to 5-ish teams a year that truly believe in in-house that they can win a Super Bowl. Like, I think that's real. Like, you can look at their roster and look at yourself in the mirror and say, we got the goods to do it. Does Aaron Rodgers feel better today about the Steelers roster than I think he did this past weekend? I do. I think today he's like, okay, now we got Jalen Ramsey and Janu Smith, some veterans that know what it takes to win at a pretty high level. I can rock with that. And so I think now Pittsburgh's roster feels a little bit better to me. Their ceiling, I don't think, is very high, but that's been the case for the last few years with Pittsburgh, is that their floor is really safe. It's safer now. It really is. They just need some young guys to pop off and take their game to the next level to truly become a contender.
Mika has not had the impact lately. He's going to be 29. Yeah. You got a very good talent in Ramsey. You've got another target for Aaron.
Darius Slay, too, on defense.
So the Steelers all in? Is that the spin?
No.
That's probably what they would tell us.
I don't know if they're not all in. It just feels like that they're still in the winning mindset.
Going all in would have been acquiring these guys and keeping George Pickens as well.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been more of an all-in feel to me. The pass defense just needed to get better. They were 25th in the league in passing yards allowed per game. So they had to do something. And now they think Jalen Ramsey and, Darius Slay, you can go into that Cincinnati matchup and think we got corners on an island, one for T. Higgins and one for Jamar Chase. It's on paper, but it looks better than what it did prior to bringing these two guys in.
This has a win-win vibe to it, this trade. Like, I think it serves purposes for both. And then all those Dolphins fans who kept the jersey. Now they don't
dust it off, baby.
And now how often does that happen? Not that
it's
often.
Rare. Yeah.
All right, we come back. And speaking of trying to continue to get better, the CBJ draft, and did it slow momentum for fans? We'll hit it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
When you walk up and down the stairs, do you feel a crunch in your knees? Or when you lift your arms above your head, you hear a click in your shoulders? Have you tried steroid shots and neither suggested surgery? Before you go under the knife, you should hear me out. Hey, it's Tyvis Powell, and I want to tell you about something that helped a lot of people get their lives back without getting more meds and without having to have surgery. It's QC Kinetics, leaders in regenerative medicine using the treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma, all designed to actually help your body heal itself. Their cellular treatment contains growth factors and healing properties to maximize your own body's ability to heal itself. 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. Learn more about something that could be life-changing. A licensed medical provider will go over your x-rays or MRI and see if you're a good fit for these breakthrough treatments. Find out if you're a good candidate. The consultation is free. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron, guess what we're getting ready to celebrate?
America's birthday?
That's right. How did you guess?
Well, you're dressed like Yankee Doodle, and you're wearing a tri-corner hat, and you've got a snare drum.
Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. They can really go. Get Eco. For your Cinco. Fix and a Blinko. You'll thinko. Hooray. Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. You'll be cool like snow. Get Eco. Like an ice Ringo. Puerto Rico. Get Eco today. Huh? What do you think?
Jerry, are you suggesting that Puerto Rico become the 51st state?
I could invent a brand new 51-star flag.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Have a safe 4th of July, everyone.
Colin Man here. Let me tell you something. I'm on these Germain inter-office emails. At Germain Lexus, during the month of June, they've challenged themselves to sell more cars than they ever have in 1 month. What does that mean? Well, I'm stupid, but to me, that means they're willing to deal, baby. And the memorial cars are on the lot. The ones the golfers drive for the tournament are now available to you. I've been a Germain customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
The champs are back. Ohio State football returns to the Shoe this fall with powerhouse matchups against Texas, Penn State, and more. Your Buckeye Saturdays begin at OhioStateBuckeyes.com, where you can grab single-game tickets that are on sale now. Gear up and get ready for game day.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at the Fan decided we needed more baseball. and that common man is stupid. Good news. We fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on the Fan all season long. Yay, baseball.
More than 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease, and 2/3 are women. Hi, I'm Cherie Sample Hughes, Chair for Women in Government. Alzheimer's disease progresses slowly over 10 to 20 years in stages. Recognizing symptoms early could help make a difference. A timely diagnosis may allow for more options, including access to emerging care. Speak with your doctor to see if testing is the right next step for you and your family. Find more information at womeningovernment.org.
The outdoor drama Tecumseh is back this summer. The drama, the history, and the spectacle make Tecumseh one of Ohio's most beloved traditions. Tecumseh has provided thrilling live entertainment for 50 years, and the outdoor theater at Sugarloaf Mountain will provide a safe and memorable experience for your entire family. Get tickets now at tecumsehdrama.com. This message is made possible in part by the Ohio Arts Council. Tecumseh, experience the drama.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Chances of showers and thunderstorms very similar to the last several days into the afternoon and early evening, some which could be on the stronger side. Afternoon highs getting into the upper 80s and still muggy conditions. For tonight, we'll see chances of showers and storms and early lows down into the 70s. And for Tuesday, the best chances for showers and storms will be the first half of the day and our highs in the mid to upper 80s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Matty is a diehard Reds fan. I mean, where else is he going to go? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, CBJ trying to keep the momentum going. It's tough when you had those picks at 14 and 20, and there weren't going to be major impact dudes there. And most of the league knew that Don Waddell wanted to move those picks, if he could, for impact guys. That's the difference. And I mentioned that on Friday, that even though he's open to all positions, and he had said he had pages of players, Matty, that he was looking at. Both picks were available. He admitted that. He said he could have moved them, but didn't like the value. And he was confident something would break. Clearly, something did not break. So 14 and 20, and I said this on Friday to you, that's the first time in 5 years they were picking outside the top 10. So do you celebrate that? Of course you do. A little bit, right? But you have to know going in, you got to be realistic about it. And then he said something on Thursday that I picked up on. You're always interested in Russian goalies, and they were doing a lot of background and all of that.
Yeah.
And so he winds up getting a Russian goalie there at 20, who's not going to be ready for several years.
The old Fran Fraschilla line, remember at the NBA draft? He's 2 years away from being 2 years away.
About that, yes. And so when we had Dean Everson on Friday, I was saying, right now, character type guy, right? Says you want to surround these kids and keep growing with guys who can teach these kids, and you want a guy with winning pedigree, a guy that's played with the best players in the world. I think Charlie Coyle fits that.
Yeah.
He fits that. That's a third line center. We'll see where he goes. We'll have him on at 2:00 and get his vibe on where things are going. Mm-hmm. But I think at this point now, they were so close, being 2 points away. And the elephant in the room is still in net. And a Russian goalie, and I didn't say net, I said net. And so the Russian goalie that he drafts at 20, if he turns out to be a Sergei Bobrovsky or Igor Shesterkin or somebody incredible, then in 4 to 5 years, you're going to be like, what a move. And see if this kid develops. Evidently, he loved him. They loved him. You don't draft a goalie at 20 that is going to be here in 4 to 5 years and feel like you've continued the momentum. I think it slowed the momentum for a lot of fans. I think it was just realistic. They're not that team yet. If he couldn't get a veteran goalie to raise the floor, which is very like the Rodgers thing the Steelers did, or he's banking on that Elvis still has life in him, and he can maybe live up, maybe not to all the money, but live up to something where if this team continues to grow and get better and their defense is better, and he re-signed Fabro. Mm-hmm. He extended him.
Love that deal.
If he can somehow, and he's got money to spend, if he thinks Provorov is potential, then all of a sudden you kind of shore up that defense again and you help the goalies. If Jet becomes the guy they think that he can, then maybe you do keep moving this down. But I think the goalie pick at 20, not that he was going to get an impact player. What I keep coming back to is he couldn't move the picks. He couldn't move the picks to help this roster the way he wanted. Yeah. So he was disciplined, I thought, in saying, if I can't make a splash for the present, I have to be in my mind for the future.
Play a little bit of the long game. And I'm perfectly okay with the feel of where we're headed with the timeline of the Jackets, because I believe one of the hardest things that a president, of hockey ops, president of basketball ops, whoever is the decision maker when it comes to the roster, one of the hardest things, in my opinion, to do is when you get that little taste of success and a little bit of that vibe of winning and really going into the offseason and asking yourself the Triple H question, are you ready? Are you really ready? Are the Jackets truly ready to make that leap and be in the mix amongst the elites? I know that they're going to tell me that, yeah, we think we can do it, but the timeline of your team, is that really a realistic thing? I'm okay with them having this thing in the crock pot and letting it marinate just a little bit longer. I'm not saying that they're not going to go out there and try to compete. We just saw what this team is capable of with the way that they're wired last year. That's going to continue. But the core of this team, the Marchenkos, the KJs, the Fantillis, these guys are, not even in the prime of their careers yet, and we're already seeing good things from them. So getting guys at 14 and 20 that can help you down the road, I'm here for that. The goaltending situation is no doubt exactly what you said, and it's figuring out who is going to be a guy that you believe in and know consistently, we're going to get this, and hopefully that this is good hockey and good defense from not only the goalie but the guys in front of them. So the Jackets, look, last year, you ranked 25th in the league in goals allowed. Last year, the year before that, you were second to last in that same category. So that's got to get figured out and figured out quickly. You touched on Coyle, what he is, and the frame, physical guy, can get up and down the ice. Seems like he's a two-way guy, AR. I saw that he's 5 seasons in a row. He's got at least 15 goals. And I like the additions last year of a Sean Monahan and a JVR. 2 guys that you can tab as vets around the league and have seen a decent amount of hockey elsewhere come into Columbus. And then they end the season, both those guys, Monahan and JVR, ranked inside the top 7 in points for the Jackets last year. And so that type of addition, Coyle coming in now with where he is in his career, I think will bring that type of juice and leadership as well to what is already building and brewing over there nationwide.
Listen, Wood's going to bring some grit, and that's a nice player to have on this team. I think that Coyle is one of those guys that certainly gives you depth down the middle.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, and I said it on Friday to him, he's a good dude. He's a hard worker. He will lead by some example. He's played with the best players in the world. He's learned from Bergeron and guys. Like he's that guy. Yeah. So I think that's valuable for this team. You couldn't just snap your fingers, wave a magic wand, and come up with something. He still could somehow try to make a splash. They've got money to spend, but it just kind of had that feeling when you're picking 14 and 20. Unless he can move those picks for a big-time splash player, a big winger, somebody, or a defenseman, and since that didn't happen, or a vet goalie, somebody that would raise the floor in the net, to me, it was just a dose of realism.
Stay the course.
Well,
stay the course.
You didn't have any other real options. And so I thought he made some moves that kind of not treading water. I think they did make an addition. It wasn't the splash you hoped he could have made with those picks. And we helped certainly the Avs with Coyle and his deal, but it does have that momentum going with it. So I think we're kind of at that point now where let's see these guys try to live off last year. I was talking when we were talking with Coach Dean. I think the challenge of this year, well, the good news is he's got a whole camp, so he didn't get just thrown in the mix, and a lot of guys that know exactly what the accountability is and what the expectations are. And then the other challenge is going to be that last year was tied up in Johnny emotion. It was. They were playing for him. They were fighting for him. You and I said getting in last year was more of the reward for this special team coming together. That would have been, even if they didn't go far or got knocked out early, that you wanted to see them get in. And maybe they would have been a tough team to play against. But that's over now. It's not the memory isn't over. The emotion of it can't stay at that height. This is going to be a new team and a new guy. And so they're going to have to now hit the ground running at camp, which will be great. So they'll have that advantage. But the disadvantage is that it's not going to be about honoring the legacy of Johnny this particular year. Last year was all about that.
Yeah, I think part of that will still live on, AR, but the weight of it will be different year in and year out. And so the leadership over there, I think, is still strong when you have a guy like Z, when you have a guy like Boone and some other vets as well. But what this needs to be about is still having the ascent of a Kent Johnson and an Adam Fantilli and a Marchenko. Those guys that you deem as your pillars moving forward, those guys continuing to take positive leaps with their game, because then we're talking 2-3 years from now, a core of dudes that are legit and hopefully some guys around them that can go too. And then I think the Jackets will be on to something special.
We'll come back. By the way, Charlie Coyle with us, brand new jacket at 2 o'clock. So don't miss that. We come back in 2 minutes. Cavs making some big-time roster decisions before free agency. We'll have our guy Spencer Davies from SI on in 2 minutes. Rothman Ice and the Fan.
Level up your summer projects with 4th of July savings on top brand cordless power tools from the Home Depot. Whether you're working on a fence, a planter box, or a new workbench, get the power and runtime you need with the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2 toolkit from the Home Depot for only $99, was $139. Get 4th of July savings on the cordless power you need to make summer projects easier than ever. Right now at the Home Depot.
For over 20 years, Purple Wave Auction has been the trusted leader in online auctions, offering the easiest way to buy and sell equipment. From bulldozers to backhoes and combines to cranes, we host multiple weekly auctions in construction, ag, and fleet equipment. With our no reserve format and sell where it sits approach, you can bid on local equipment without waiting for far-off auction dates. Get registered for free and start bidding today at purplewave.com.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be, and if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Tri-State Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654. Or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
True to his name, Matty Ice wears a winter coat in the middle of summer. He lives the gimmick, man. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
You know, we were just talking about the Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jalen Ramsey trade and how, you could definitely categorize that as a wash or maybe a win-win. Both teams are going to find positives in it. This one team is getting torched, and I'll get Spencer Davies' opinion on this. SI covering the Cavs. Spence, welcome back. How you been?
Good, man. How about you?
Good. The Bulls are getting torched for the Lonzo Ball trade to the Cavs. Should they be?
Should they be? That's a good question. I mean, here's the thing. I think that Isaac Okoro gets a bad rap around here because he hasn't been able to knock down the shots that have come his way in the postseason. But here's the other thing I believe in with Isaac Okoro is that he is one of the best defensive on-ball stoppers that you can have. He's very aware on that end, and he's also really good in transition. And it's somebody that, too, is still in the very beginning of his career. And I think that taking that chance if you're Chicago was actually pretty smart. And then you look at Lonzo Ball, who's somebody that's had quite a bit of injury history. He's only played 70 games over the last 4 years of his career. I just think that it's a little bit more fair than you would think. I know that you probably should have gotten some draft compensation coming with Isaac Okoro in this deal, but at the same time, I think taking a chance on somebody who is a top 5 pick and has plenty of upside left and can use a change of scenery, to be quite honest, and ousting somebody like Lonzo, who's going to probably take a back seat in a youth movement there in Chicago, I don't think that it's that bad of a deal.
I understand from Cleveland's side their thinking, right? With Darius Garland injured and, maybe missing some time earlier on the season, you have a guy in Lonzo that can fill into that role. Spence, I couldn't wait to ask you about when Darius Garland is back and healthy, what you think this looks like with Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and now Lonzo Ball.
Well, I think Lonzo's got enough size to where they can run 3-guard lineups with all of them, and they did that with Ty Jerome last year in certain instances. I think this is also a chance for them to see what different pairings look like and what bigs that Lonzo plays the best with, because I think of his skill set, outside of, kind of maybe losing the athleticism because of the injuries, he's got a great basketball IQ. He's somebody that really does a good job of pushing the ball up the floor, especially from behind the half-court line. I think he's really good at those look-ahead passes. I think he's got a good enough jumper to keep him a threat on the outside. He's not going to be doing a lot of catch shooting. He's probably going to have the ball in his hands quite a bit, but he's going to be a mover. He's going to be one of those guys that gets those secondary assists and also can organize an offense when you're in a pinch and you maybe have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland in foul trouble or you need somebody to fill in for them. And, I think having that mindset to be able to do it by committee also with Craig Porter Jr. and potentially even Tyrese Proctor, who they just took in the second round, I think can make up for what Ty Jerome possibly could when he potentially leaves in free agency.
Spence, I feel like, just to follow up on, like, from the Bulls side of this with Lonzo, it's like most of the people that cover that team are like, this is ridiculous. Like, they could have gotten a first-round pick for him at the deadline. Instead, they end up with a rotation guy and all that. But I'll ask it this way. You like Lonzo as a very good fit, it sounds like. And as far as minutes, they really won't have to rely on him to play that heavy. And so give me your take on just where you think this fit is.
Yeah, no, I feel like around that 20 to 25-minute mark is going to be fine for him, probably more leaning towards that 20-minute mark, because as we see, Ty Jerome was right around that, just around 19, I think it was last year. And you're not going to need him to have this extremely high usage. You're not going to need him to, quote-unquote, rescue your team off the bench. But you need somebody to be able to, again, organize, to get things kind of settled. And I feel like Lonzo just, again, has just a great mind for the game. And he can read the game as it's happening and in real time. And I feel like that's a really, really solid skill set and approach to have when you're on a team with like the Cavs, who, let's be honest, had one of the best offenses in the league last year. So you're really figuring that out. And then we're not even talking about the defensive end of the floor, where he is extremely savvy at knowing his spots, knowing the scouting reports, and also just having a nose for the ball. So I think that his rebounding ability, too, is going to help them as far as the backcourt boards go. So I like that. But to your point, yes, the reports about the first-round pick possibility around the trade deadline, I think it was some sort of deal with Memphis that was on the table. That would be, in hindsight, yes, probably very bad to look at if you're a Bulls fan.
How would you have felt if they did pull off the Kevin Durant trade? I know that was out there, that maybe they put Darius Garland and some other stuff on the table and tried to tempt Phoenix into that trade. If they pulled that off, what would your perspective have been and outlook have been if Kevin Durant was a Cleveland Cavalier?
Well, I mean, I think that they're trying to go all in on this next year or two or so. At any time you would land someone like Kevin Durant, is pretty much a perennial 50, 40, 90 type of player, and one of the best, if not the best scorer in the game today, definitely the best scorer in the NBA in the last decade. Then you'd obviously have to be in support of it. Now, I know it would probably take quite a bit to get Kevin Durant. And I feel like at that age, knowing his injury history, you might be a little bit hesitant, but I think the Rockets are going to be in a good spot. They've done a tremendous job of really not having to give up the entire farm for Kevin Durant, and knowing that he had, this expiring deal that he's on is also another part of this too, because you have to figure out what you're willing to give up for a rental, essentially. And I think that's the same thing that's going on in the LeBron conversation right now. What team is really going to be willing to give up assets for 1 year of LeBron and potentially his last season or one of his last 2 seasons? And can you match a $52 million salary if you're in apron trouble? So it's tough to do the business that way. But I think a lot of teams are really realizing that the league is pretty open right now. So they're going for it. But I am personally a believer in what the Cavs have going on. I think they have had some incredible misfortune at the wrong time. And it sounds kind of cliche and homerish here in Cleveland, but I just think it takes time, man. And they have a really good thing going. And I think it'd be bad business to blow a lot of it up.
Speaking of business, the front office did some business with Sam Merrill this weekend on a 4-year deal. Did you like that contract, and talk about what he provides on the floor and what you're expecting from him now moving forward?
So, Kenny Atkinson's a big proponent for Sam Merrill, and he's not even just talking about his ability to shoot the basketball. That would take it way too simply and way too basic to describe what Sam does. He is really good off the ball at just drawing attention. And when you can get somebody that's snaking around the half court, just like Max Strus. Him and Max Strus very similar in that respect. Just having the gravity and having to have someone follow you around, that opens up driving lanes and it opens up the floor, because then other guys have to be worried about what's out on the perimeter. And then the thing that a lot of people do not talk about outside of Cleveland that Kenny Atkinson has consistently harped on, Donovan Mitchell has consistently harped on, is how good of a defender Sam Merrill is. And it may not be because he's the biggest guy or the strongest guy, but he is willing to body up guys in the post. He's willing to switch, and he's done a good job of just staying in front. If you look at some of the film from this year, I think he did some of the best jobs on Damian Lillard, which you would think going back, like, wow, this guy's actually guarding Damian Lillard. But he did a good job of forcing him into tough shots. I think he did a good job of guarding guys like Jaylen Brown. And, you look back at the film, he's actually staying in front. And I know that a lot of these guys can win one-on-one against him, but for longevity of a game and for the physical exertion that he puts out there, I think it's truly admirable. And, yes, $38 million over 4 years, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a guy who's probably going to be the 7th, 8th guy on the roster. But Kenny Atkinson clearly values that skill set, and they were willing to pay him up. And good for Sam, because, what a story going from the last pick in the NBA draft all those years ago to the first pick in the G League draft 3 years ago, and now being a guy that's making almost $10 million a year annually.
Really good stuff. Really good insight from Spencer Davies, who covers the Cavs on SI. Spencer, thanks, man. We will be in touch. Appreciate your time.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. He was on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I think the difference in the Cavs now is that they can attract people.
They got a squad, yeah.
Now, they may have veteran minimum contracts to offer up, but, where they are in the East, you start saying to guys, could you take a little less money and be a part of this?
The core is core strong. I like the Lonzo addition, because when you get Darius back, as Spencer was laying out, you could throw 3 guards out there, or if he embraces it, Lonzo can come off the bench with that second unit, and then you're really on to something if you have DeAndre Hunter a part of that, because that was a big deal last year, right? Was Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter, those guys coming off, and I know the playoffs were rough for Ty, but most of the year he was really good. And so you get size, passing ability, and defense with Lonzo, and he's been there, done that. So they really didn't need to tweak too much and change too much. I like these additions. You always want shooting, so Sam Merrill will do that for you. But Lonzo Ball, I'm in on that. I like it.
Let me sum up where the Bulls are. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, and Lonzo Ball. They've all been dealt by the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
They didn't get one single draft pick in return.
Insane.
Like,
That's wild. And the Caruso one is like, that dude, we just watched him help a team win
Good
title.
God. That's unreal.
What's going on up there in Chi-Town?
Dude.
It's the Josh Giddey show.
It's been a long time since
Kobe
23
White
was running the show.
No doubt.
We come back with a Buckeye Bulletin. Is the third act the best act or the final act or both for this former Buckeye? Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Get blockbuster savings at Coughlin Ford. 5-time winner of the Ford President's Award. Get employee pricing on new F-150s. 10 grand off MSRP on new 25s or 13 grand off new 24 models. Shop the fastest growing Ford dealership in Central Ohio. From America, for America. Visit CoughlinFord.com.
Based on YTD sales and ground stock. All factory rebates to dealer. All prior sales excluded. In-stock units only. Must finance through Ford Motor Credit. Not all will qualify. No security deposit required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. N7725.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
Join the Fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes, it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Oh, I can't believe we blew a 5-touchdown lead.
Sure, but you got to feel like they were going to win for almost the entire game.
But I was about to buy playoff tickets.
So you were prepared for a good time. That's pretty nice.
It's the worst loss any team has ever had.
And you got to witness history.
Okay, we're done here.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
Buckeye Bulletin time. It's no argument you need help. And it just feels like the Justin Fields is on a treadmill with the incline, like cranked up. And I just feel like
some of them incline sprints.
Some people have a better feel on, and not just him. I'm talking about just the team around him and what they have. And he's not old. Kid's 26. Like, there's a future there. But with the Bears and then the Steelers moving on from him, even when he was like, that's the red flag to me. Is that the Steelers, who were winning, decided that he wasn't a part of their future. Now, maybe it was the money.
Short term, I think I understand because they had to. Well, had to is probably not right. At some point, Russell Wilson needed to get some run because that was a big what if on your sidelines, right? Like this vet with a team that we have, can he elevate us to higher heights? To your point, you're 4-2, and you're Justin Fields. Like, why the heck am I getting pulled out of this thing? I know it hasn't been sexy week in and week out, but we're winning games. Big picture, your question, I completely understand. Why in-house did they have a guy that they won with, and then they said, nah, we're good? It has to come down to Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, saying, this guy in my system, is it going to take us to where I think we can go?
I think they view him as a gadget guy, a package guy. I don't think they viewed him as a, you want to come in and sneak the football for us and have some of that.
That's disrespectful to his skill set. If that is what they're thinking, is he a perfect quarterback? No, not by any means. We all know that he's still got work to do, but I think there's enough there to where if he is your guy, you build an offense around his skill set, which I think is important. I don't know if they necessarily did that in Pittsburgh. You build it around him, I think you'll reap some good rewards. And that's what the Jets are hoping on now. But there were some people definitely banging the table for Justin to keep the keys to the steering wheel last year because they thought he had earned it. And it's hard to look at that record and say that he didn't.
You can't deny that he's taken some steps forward as a passer. He has. And the problem is that maybe they didn't believe that he was what kind of money could they pay him, that they felt like they were overpaying. The weapons surrounding him were not great. He's not being asked to work with nothing. He'll have Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Taylor, and he's got some options. The Jets have an offensive line that should have pretty good chance of giving him time.
They've invested in that. That's for sure. And I think he has a head coach now that loves his skill set because Aaron Glenn, the Jets' new head coach, is a defensive guy. And he saw what Justin Fields can do when Justin was playing.
Glenn.
Right. When Justin Fields was playing in the NFC North. As a defensive coordinator, that stresses you out. And so now you have a quarterback where you can build off his skill set with the run game and the pass game and all those things that can help out your defense. And so I understand what the Jets are seeing here. They're not paying him crazy money. It's a 2-year contract for $40 million. And so it's a pressure-packed deal for Justin Fields because to me, if he doesn't play in year one of this deal, I think the Jets are going to be looking around and saying, can we find an upgrade? But you mentioned what I think is really important, his age. The runway is there for him. He's just got to piece it all together and really complete his game. And if he does that, he can have a fruitful NFL career.
This is it, right? I mean, I guess you could bounce around the league continually, but I do think it's a red flag that an organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are pretty quarterback starved and feel like that they need to find a future quarterback, and they had a 25, 26-year-old athletic All-American.
And they said, we're good.
And they said, we're good.
And we basically traded him, if you think about it.
They've done it twice in the same offseason with a guy at quarterback and a guy at receiver. To your point, two guys that should be in the middle of their prime. For whatever reason, the Steelers are like, we're moving on from Pickens and Justin Fields.
I'm telling you, it feels there's something about you either have to trust the Steelers that they know their own team or they know him specifically, or they made a big mistake. a 2-year, $40 million contract would have been fine. Now, maybe they were offering less than that, and I said before that maybe Justin probably held the benching against them if he had a better option, and maybe just emotionally he didn't want to sign with them if both deals were equal. But the Steelers moving on from that kid, that age, a kid who had starting to win for them, maybe there's a future.
You know what this feels like? This feels like Kyle McCord. This feels like a couple years ago, last offseason, whatever that was, Ryan Day saying, we won with this guy. The offense was pretty good with this guy, but we can get more out of this offense if we have the right guy with the right skill set under center. And that was Will Howard. And in this case, Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin are like, we like Justin Fields, but we want to do more. And so let's go find another option, and now that option is Aaron Rodgers.
The fact that Aaron Rodgers was cheaper than Justin Fields is pretty mind-boggling. But when you think about where they are in their careers, it's not. Yeah. But I just feel like that's the flag. That's the red flag.
What do they know? Another example was when the Chiefs moved on from Orlando Brown Jr. as Pat Mahomes' left tackle, his blindside protector, and we're sitting there thinking, wait a minute, why would they win with that guy, get rid of him, and now he becomes a Cincinnati Bengal? Sometimes it's as simple as that. Sometimes it's a fit thing. Who knows what they were thinking? But it's a head-scratcher. But for Justin, he's got a chance to make some noise out there in Gotham City.
Your organization that we've trusted is like the benchmark of brilliance.
Has that expired yet, by the way?
When it comes to receivers, yes.
Ramsey, Janu Smith, Darius Slay, but they won't pay T.J. Watt. So I don't know what they're doing. They got all sorts of moving parts.
I'm telling you, man, let's just be open-minded a little bit that they're trying to have all these contracts expire at the same time so they can have a new quarterback in the draft and a hell of a free agency all at the same time.
We come back, top of the hour, Sports Center update, and then the brand new jacket. Charlie Coyle jumps on the show. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
Your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. See your Kroger Pharmacy for details.
Dick's epic 4th of July sale is on. Get summer ready with 25% off select Stanley drinkware. Get 20% off Igloo coolers and water bottles and select bog bags. Buy one, get one 50% off DSG coolers, canopies, chairs, and water bottles. $200 off Callaway AI smoke irons and TaylorMade QI10 drivers. These deals won't last. Stock up for summer now, in-store or online at Dicks.com. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell air conditioners instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. The Cincinnati Reds heading to Boston to start a series with the Red Sox at 7:10 this evening. Rookie Chase Burns makes his second major league start. He'll match up with Garrett Crochet. Pre-game coverage over on ESPN Columbus gets underway at 6:40. We'll join it in progress here on The Fan at 8. NHL free agency gets underway tomorrow. The Columbus Blue Jackets could be active as they look to improve their team. The CBJ announced the roster for their development camp that gets underway on Wednesday. Among those participating, first-round picks forward Caden Lindstrom, defenseman Jackson Smith, and goalie Pyotr Andrianov. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Miami Dolphins have made a trade today. The Dolphins sending cornerback Jalen Ramsey, tight end Janu Smith, and a 2027 7th-round pick to the Steelers for safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 2027 5th-round pick.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, back at it, Rothman and Ice. Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and could put him in the Hockey and Hounds rotation, Matty, at some point, because my deep dive research, of course, we got to get a little take on Bodie and Gracie from our guy. But Charlie Coyle had a year left in Colorado. He started his career in Minnesota, then to Boston, so goes to the West, and then he's back in the East, and he's now a Jacket. And he's used around the lines, versatile guy. Everyone calls him a hard-working dude. And we have him with us now, fresh off his signing to be a brand-new Columbus Blue Jacket. Charlie, welcome to the program, man. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I can't believe the pups are already getting a shout-out, the first one to do so. I love that. I love that.
And am I right? It is Bodie and Gracie, correct?
You're bang on.
Okay.
Bodie and Gracie. Bodie boy, Gracie girl. Yep.
Awesome. Can't wait to see them and be a part of it because, years ago, and I don't know if anybody told you, so we do Hockey and Hounds every week, and Zach comes on the program. He's a dog guy. Your boy Fabs came on with us. He's a dog guy. And I actually started with John Tortorella years ago because we're both big animal advocates, and we get rescues homes and adopted dogs, and it's an outstanding thing. So I'm already committing you at some point. You're in the bullpen, my man.
I'm glad to be there. I can't wait for that. I love that. So consider me in.
All right, so let's talk hockey. You missed Dean Everson by just a little bit in mini, did you not?
No, I had him. I had him as an assistant. Short period of time, but got to play for him. And of course, assistant, a little different role than the head honcho. But I really liked him. He was just kind of, you could tell he was just a little intense, kind of blue collar. Just I love that. But I wish I could have played for him longer. So I guess I'm getting that wish.
He seems like a guy, and obviously we know him. We've had him on the program, who tells players where they stand. What do you expect? Do you expect that part of it?
That's how I would assume he would kind of run the show, and I think that's what you want, no matter good or bad. You want to know where you stand, so you're not questioning anything, and then you can go out and just do what you got to do. If you got to work on something, if you got to just keep doing what you're doing and playing your game, you're not contemplating anything, and you can go out and do whatever you got to do 100%. So I think that having that from a coach is textbook. That's what you need. That's what you want. And I think that only helps move the needle even more and gets guys playing the way they're capable of.
Charlie, for the Jacket fan that knows the name, that knows who you are, but maybe just really locked into the CBJ night in and night out, not much outside of that, what are they getting in Charlie Coyle? What are you hoping to bring to this franchise, to that locker room, night in and night out?
Well, you guys already mentioned versatility, and that's something that I really pride myself on, is being able to play up and down the lineup. I can play center, I can play wing. I've done that throughout my career, and kind of whatever the team needs, depending on injuries that come up or whatever the situation is. So versatility is one. Two, just a hard work and two-way player. I always was taught that, your prototypical hockey player is one who can play every zone and play it well. Of course, I played with a guy named Patrice Bergeron. I'm not sure if you guys heard of him, but he's kind of like the staple in that sense. And to learn from him, to try to emulate stuff after him and be that two-way player is something I try to consistently work on and be better at. But someone who can play any type of game as well, whether it's a physical game. I like to think I have some skill. I'm working on it. But someone who can finish a little more, shoot the puck a little more often, and win some faceoffs.
Charlie Coyle with us, brand new Jacket. As mentioned, he's played with some of the greatest players in the world. He's played with some great players in his own career. And now you come to this team with a ton of up-and-comers, a team that's close, that needs to get pushed over the top a little bit. So let me ask it this way. What kind of player specifically do you think you want to be now at this point of your career? Is there something that you are honing in on? I know you talked about the versatility and you're willing to do what's needed, but if someone asked you what kind of player specifically you want to be now at this point of your career, what would that be?
I would say a power forward. I would say someone who gets in there on the forecheck and can create things, turnovers, be a force down low with my size and the way I can use my body to shield the puck, and then someone who can contribute more in the scoring department. I always pride myself on being good defensively, but you always want to chip in more and score and help your team put up some points. So those are some things that I continue to work on, and a big component of that is just putting myself in areas on the ice to receive the puck and shoot the puck. I can definitely keep working on that. That's been something I've been trying to hone in on my whole career.
So last year, unfortunately, the city, the team over there had to deal with the very unfortunate tragedy with Johnny Gaudreau. And, we were in the eye of the storm of that thing right here in Columbus. Outside of Columbus, around the league, what were your thoughts? What were players around the league? Just the feel of what some of your hockey brethren were going through here in Columbus. Like, what was that like for people on the outside to look at what Zach and just that entire locker room had to unfortunately deal with a year ago, the emotional component of that? Your thoughts on that from the outside looking in?
Yeah, I mean, it's of course, it's got to be a tough situation, just seeing everything from an outside perspective, and couldn't imagine what those guys, the families, everything we're going through. But I guess to try to, play for a deeper meaning. And I think those guys did an unbelievable job to dial things in and play for Johnny, play for his family. And I know they were around a lot and get to interact with them as they should. And that was something that, seeing the videos, seeing in-game stuff, the pregame stuff, and it was very special to watch and witness from outside. So, a lot can be said for the team and those guys who, of course, go with it with everyone else. And it seems like been through a lot. And I know they're always going to play for Johnny and his family, what he brought, the kind of person he was, and the person he was raised to be. It's not hard to play for a guy and a family like that. And I know those guys 100% did that last year. And the year they had, I think it's, helped spark them and play for him. It was so special to witness from an outside perspective. I know they're going to keep playing that way for Johnny and for his fam.
Brand new forward for us, Charlie Coyle with us. Really nice of him to take a few minutes to talk about joining the Jackets. Honestly, you can go back to that series in 2019. I mean, we had you, man. It was that series tipped. We could have tipped that thing. We drew a lot of iron in that series. And listen, Tuukka was great, and it was a hell of a time here. And we want to get back to that point. But can you just describe your experience playing against the Jackets in this building as an opponent and what you anticipate now being on this side of it?
Yeah, it was some of my best memories as a hockey player, of course. Playing against the Jackets, I think they just swept Tampa, which was huge. I played with a Nick Foligno a couple of years later after that. I think he was captain at the time, and he did an unbelievable job leading those guys and getting them to that point. And it was one of our tougher series playing against the Jackets. Being in that building was I don't know, I want to say unexpected, but very pleasantly surprised the atmosphere and how passionate they were as fans and what they brought for the Jackets. And I know they fed off them because you could feel it when we played against them. And it was pretty special. And yeah, we had a few overtime games that could have gone either way. That series, I mean, you guys know it's a game of inches where it hits the post and it goes out, hits the post, goes in, goalie comes up big, be completely different. So I think we were lucky to come out ahead in that series and pull through. But man, I don't want to say we were surprised by the Jackets, but they brought it, and the fans were a big component of that.
So we've gotten to get to know you a little bit personally with the dog stuff, and we love that here on this show. But outside of that, what are some of your interests? We got hobbies. We got TV shows we're into, fantasy football, anything like that. What are you getting into, man, when you're not out there on the ice putting in work?
It's not a lot, to be honest. I love my dogs. They're kind of like my downtime, coming home from the rink and just throwing the ball with them. They're golden retrievers, so they love playing, especially the boy. He has a ball in his mouth every second of every day. So that's kind of my downtime, just to go home and throw it and just you kind of wind down and mentally it's just a nice rest. And so I do that. I have almost a 2-year-old daughter. So between the dogs and her, they keep us very busy. So to have the downtime with them, especially, through the grueling season and just trying to wind down and find some time to rest, they keep me busy. But we have our TV shows. We like to try to watch an episode or two at night, whatever is on Netflix or anything else, and whatever friends are watching. But yeah, besides that, long walks with the dogs, playing ball with them, and hanging with my daughter.
You come from a pretty famous place, and first of all, just Massachusetts in general, and then BU, of course, and Fab's just got an extension here over the weekend, so that's got to be pretty cool. But when you think about coming from a school that had Mike Ruzioni and Eichel and those guys, it's got to be pretty cool. What are your best memories growing up as a kid in that area?
Yeah, it really is. I always I always wanted to go BU, BC. You know, you watch the Bean Pots when you're younger, and being lucky enough to go to a few games, whether it's a Bean Pot or a playoff game, or even just a BU, BC game. It seemed like that was like the NHL when you were younger. You know, it was that high up, and just such good memories of going into Boston and seeing those games. So that was always one of my goals, was to go to. I was always a BU guy more than BC, but I would, if any of those schools talked to me, I would probably been pretty happy when I was younger. But I played for the Boston Junior Terriers when I was about 12, 13 years old. So I was kind of BU through and through, and they were the first school to talk to me, and I committed pretty much right away. Didn't talk to anyone else. But I always wanted to go there, and, you know, you mentioned the history, the guys that have played there in the past, and even since I've been through there, you know, Eichel, McAvoy, Grizzly, all those guys and beyond. It's a pretty special school and place to be, place to live in Boston in general. But there's no shock as to why guys want to play there. And because of the history and because of where you live and get to be, and growing up there is, you know, you feel very lucky as you move on in the world and see different places, and to always be able to come back to the Boston area is always a special thing.
Well, it's good to get to know you. It's great to have you on the program. Congratulations again. I think you already got a glimpse of what this city's going to provide for you and what you can provide for the team, you and your family. Can't wait to meet in the person, and good luck, safe travel, and we'll talk to you soon, Charlie. Thank you.
Definitely, guys. Can't wait to talk to you guys down the road, and thanks again for having me on. We'll talk soon.
You got it. Thanks, Charlie. All right, that's Charlie Coyle, and versatile dude, hardworking guy.
Cool dude.
And ready to kind of get after it. You could just hear the energy in his voice.
Yep.
And this is a guy that's had to keep his suitcase packed. Like, he's been moved around a little bit, and hopefully got a little staying power here. And this could be ideal. The third line, go where I'm needed, be around the kids that you still want to grow, because you don't want to stunt the Fantillis. Not that you would ever do that, but with Monty and Fantilli and Cole and adding him to that mix down the middle and wherever they need him, I liked it. It's kind of like we were pushing. We didn't mention his name on Friday, but he kind of fit that mold of what we were talking about. He was on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fangast Hotline. When we come back, TJ Watt, is he going to remain a Steeler? The latest next. Rothman Ice in the Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic. Oh, yes. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
2 years ago, Bobby Carpenter completed treatments for knee pain at QC Kinetics. So we're checking in with the former college and pro football player to see how he's doing.
I've been asked a lot, like, how long does this last? How long does it work? I go, I've had mine for a couple years, and everything feels very good. It feels just as good as it did when I started to turn the corner.
Bobby's an active husband, dad, and business owner. That's why 2 years ago, he heard about QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments, and he knew he could trust them for his chronic knee pain.
And thankfully, with QC Kinetics, I was able to go through this, and my activities are the same as it was. I'm able to coach my kids in sports. I can play golf. I can go run.
QC Kinetics patients like Bobby don't miss a beat. No surgery or rehab, just freedom from debilitating joint pain. Ready for lasting relief from joint pain? Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. American Family Insurance can help protect your dream home for whatever comes next. You can live in your own oasis or your own clubhouse. Whatever you choose, get the right coverage. Save up to 23% by bundling home and auto. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The champs are back. Ohio State football returns to the Shoe this fall with powerhouse matchups against Texas, Penn State, and more. Your Buckeye Saturdays begin at ohiostatebuckeyes.com, where you can grab single game tickets that are on sale now. Gear up and get ready for game day.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with a thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
The Columbus Zoo invites you to follow the footsteps and the tales of animals from around the world. Explore our newest region, North America Trek. So what are you waiting for? Get your tail to our trails only at your Columbus Zoo.
This summertime, it's Modelo time. Whether you're poolside or curbside, kick it with an ice cold Modelo. Time to fire up the grill and turn up. Time to reach for a crisp Modelo or the refreshing lime and salt flavors of Modelo Chelada. Time to raise one to summer, and time to stock up on Modelo before summer is gone. Drink responsibly. Beer and flavored beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
T-Bone and Tybus.
You comparing apples to
No, I'm
oranges.
not. I'm
Yes,
literally
you are.
comparing sandwiches to sandwiches.
You can't make a PB&J without the bread.
Yes, and to me, I need a hot dog. I want it on a bun.
T-Bone and Tybus Mornings on the Fan is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy. Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it's important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value, and they have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and obtain superior ongoing education and training. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit ODA.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Chances of showers and thunderstorms very similar to the last several days into the afternoon and early evening, some which could be on the stronger side. Afternoon highs getting into the upper 80s and still muggy conditions. For tonight, we'll see chances of showers and storms and early lows down into the 70s. And for Tuesday, the best chances for showers and storms will be the first half of the day and our highs in the mid to upper 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, a little Bet365 time.
Let's get into it because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. They've got a great sign-up offer for you over at Bet365 where you bet just $5 and you will get $150 in bonus bets whether your bet wins or loses.
All right, so a great Bet365 story over the weekend.
Okay, what do you got?
I had a baseball parlay that included Tampa. One of the games on Saturday was trying to find the game so I can give you the exact specifics of what I was dealing with. I think it was Tampa. Was it Friday? Tampa and Baltimore? Yes, it was Tampa at Baltimore. Okay.
Oh, where Baltimore exploded on offense?
This is a great Bet365 story. They're going to love me for this. And I love them for this. I had Tampa in a parlay.
Yeah.
Tampa lost 22-8 in a baseball game.
Wow.
And guess what? I won the bet. You know how?
Mm-hmm.
Tampa went up 6-0 in the top of the second.
Mm-hmm.
I got the early payout. Green check. You won.
We're done here.
No care in the world.
Yeah.
The other team comes back and beats them 22-8, and I won the bet on the team that scored 8. So there you go.
Get the hell out of here.
That's exactly right. It happened. And so I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to share that. The other thing I'd like to do is maybe ride this Chase Burns train a little bit.
Talk about it.
And take...
You want his K's? I
know his K's, and I think they've gone up. I thought it was 5.5.
Oh, no.
And I would have taken the over.
So what's interesting about this, because this on paper is an electric starting pitcher matchup tonight. Reds are in Boston. Reds are playing well. Chase Burns looked really good in his first outing. The other pitcher in this game is Garrett Crochet, arguably the best lefty in the entire sport. They have the same juice AR for their over on Ks. The juice is plus 120 for both of them. 6.5 Ks is Chase Burns. 8.5 Ks is Garrett Crochet.
Red Sox are bad. That one strikeout, though, is steering me in a weird way.
Blanket, I'm doing it.
Give me the over. 6.5.
Give me the over for 6.5 Ks, Chase Burns plus 120. We were thinking the same thing.
Let's see.
Roll with me.
All right. I'm going to roll with you, and I'll tell you why. Because the Boston Red Sox have struck out 790 times.
Where's that rank right now?
28th.
Okay, in the basement.
All right. So let's do some quick math on this. 790 times over, what have they played, 85 games? That's 9.3 Ks per game.
Yeah, we're going over. Yep. Chase Burns about to light him up.
Plus 120?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why not?
Let's do it. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
It's been a pretty wild day for the Steelers. Yeah. And it got crazier when they traded safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a late-round pick to the Dolphins, and they got back Jalen Ramsey and tight end Janu Smith.
Yep.
And now we already know that they got DK Metcalf from the Seahawks, and Rodgers is now signed for a year, and everything's ready to go. However, TJ Watt skipped the mandatory minicamp. He wants a new deal. Adam Schefter gave an update today. Quote, everybody just assumed that rightfully the two sides will figure it out. But I don't think they're very close. And I don't think he's very pleased. They just gave Janu Smith more money. They just gave Jalen Ramsey more money and haven't given TJ Watt more money. That's what I said earlier. They're paying everybody except this guy. You could get a lot for him still. A lot. He's in the final year of his deal. 30 years old.
He's 30. He will be 31 AR on October 11th.
What is he looking for? $40 million a year?
I think the floor is 35.
Yeah.
I think he's looking at the market and saying that Max Crosby deal that we just watched get cooked up this all season, that's at least what I deserve.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you're the Steelers, like obviously he's the guy that's worth paying. You'd pay him. Where you are in their mindset, if they don't pay him and they trade him, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever, because I don't know if you're going to win a Super Bowl with him. You're probably not even going to play in one with him. It just doesn't seem like where they're going.
How about you win a playoff game with him, because he hasn't done that yet?
That's true.
That's not on him.
No, it's not on him.
It's on the lack of quarterback juice that the Steelers have had. TJ Watt's a Hall of Fame player. I guess the question is, AR, do you think that he's still got Hall of Fame seasons in him?
Yeah, I do.
After this season.
Yeah.
So if you believe that, and if they believe that,
I have no problem with giving him a 3-year, $120 million deal for a player like him. But where they are as a franchise, I just makes me feel like this could be something where you could really cash in on him and ignite wherever they can go with a rebuild.
I'm with you. I like the framework of the Max Crosby deal was 3 years, $106 million, 91 of that 106 guaranteed. If they did that, I'm with you, AR. Like I wouldn't flinch at it. They can't let TJ walk. I'm not a fan of trading
you're
him.
not doing that. And
I'm not a fan of trading him either. I'm not.
Yeah, so pay him.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I think this is fairly simple.
It seems pretty simple. The other risk here is, it's not really a risk if you can't do it, but who's lining up? Are there a lot of teams that would line up to pay him what he's going to be asking for? I don't know. And give up what it would take to get him to do the signing.
It's a double-edged thing. Yeah, there's no doubt. I just don't think in-house right now the Steelers have his replacement. If we knew they'd been grooming...
Well, he may be irreplaceable in a way.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if they had been grooming a young pass rusher that we've seen some promise from, then it's like, okay, you could talk me into this guy's ready. Like, he's ready to be that 10-plus a year sack guy. I don't see that for them right now, so I would do everything that I possibly can to get this thing done. I think the Max Crosby deal is it. I don't think the Myles Garrett deal would be it, but he's probably looking at his career, Myles' career, and saying, I've been doing the same thing. And Myles Garrett's 30 years old. Why shouldn't I get $40 million a year?
You would think the trade market would be great for a guy like him, but 30, 31, 150, north of 150 million, or whatever he's going to be asking for, because you know he's going to be asking for more than what I just said, probably just years and guarantees. So he's exceptional, but he cost a lot for a team that probably would not be able to get rid of him. I don't know who they would be able to dump him on. Dump's a bad word, but trade him, because he's, like I said, you got to give up a lot for him, and then you got to pay him. And he's probably got 3 really good years left.
I would have to imagine on the other side of any trade with T.J. Watt is a team that believes they're ready to win it all. And he's the missing piece and would be willing to give up that draft capital and pay him to hopefully get a Lombardi.
I'll tell you what, let's examine that a little bit and see if we could find him a spot. And then also, is the quarterback crown ready to slip off this man's head? We'll discuss next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Save big on 18-ounce containers of blueberries or 12-ounce containers of raspberries. Right now, they're only $3.77 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling, and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. If you are retired or in the planning stages, we can help you maximize your income. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Dog friendly. And if you ain't down with that, this is Rothman and Ice.
Fun times in the AFC North. Watt's trying to get a deal. Hendrickson is trying to get a deal.
Shamar Stewart's trying to get a deal.
Trying to get onto the team.
Yeah, and then there's been some big names coming into the division on defense. Jalen Ramsey today. Yep. Jair Alexander last week goes over to Baltimore. So the division that we love and talk about the most is not going to lack for drama or storylines this year again. It's going to be awesome to see.
So you had mentioned about predicting if they did try to move him and get somebody to pay him and trade a lot for him, it would have to be somebody close. And it would also have to be, in my mind, somebody that is not in the AFC.
Unless the draft capital is too juicy to pass up.
We have to do it.
2 first-round picks.
Let me be on the record. I'm not buying the Steelers would do this. And he's an iconic piece. He's a franchise defensive player.
He's going to Canton.
But Pittsburgh to Canton.
Jeez.
And Rodgers comes in at quarterback thinking, and they think they actually can do something here. And they might.
Let me ask you this real quick. If you're TJ Watt, is it an absolute slam dunk that you want to finish your career in Pittsburgh with the outlook of the quarterback position?
He's got the same mindset as Myles Garrett. Miles could say, "Hey, can you send me that letter? I'm going to steal it and put my name on it and change the city."
You know what's really telling about what you just said is that Myles Garrett is a Brown and TJ Watt is a Steeler. So take everything that you just said about the attitude of, well, I can't win here and my time is running out. Yeah, to say that about the Browns is something we expect. To say that about the Steelers, I think, is pretty jarring.
I think in the blink of an eye, the outlook for the Steelers changes if we had high-end respect for their quarterback. I don't know if that's the case. It's more respect there because it's Aaron Rodgers, but that's just been the missing link in all of this. And so now you're a franchise and you're looking around and saying a lot of the guys that have been playing tremendously well, especially on defense with Cam Hayward and Highsmith and Minka and TJ Watt, these guys were on the back end of their careers now. And so this is a tough situation, I think, because it is very similar to what Cincinnati is going through. You have an aging elite pass rusher to where do you really have confidence that in year 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 of a new deal with these pass rushers that are north of 30, that you're still going to get the high-end productivity that you've been getting from ages 25 to 30? It's a tough call to make. But if you're the Steelers, and I looked this up during the break here, you flip the page to their 2026 cap space. They have the third most cap space of any NFL team for 2026 at $86 million. So this is a deal that can get done and they can fit into their financial situation for over the next couple of years. So it's not a money thing to me.
Watt's going to be a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, he wants this extension and a massive one. So that means to me that he does want to stay a Steeler. He's not pulling a Garrett and writing the letter. He's not forcing his way out. Shefty says the people he talks to are saying that he's not happy, that they're making moves. And
what about the guy that's been holding it down?
He's not the number one priority right now.
And I get that from TJ's perspective.
But he's also got to understand that what he's asking for is
it's not ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
He can ask for anything that's in them. He can ask for the Myles Garrett deal, and I would not knock him at all for it. He's earned that. He has. Now, there's a whole other side of that coin where it's like, do I think he will still be the same dude? I'm not sure. But as far as the other guys that play his position and what they've received, he should get all of those deals. He's worth every single deal that we've seen. Max Crosby, Danielle Hunter, Myles Garrett. If the Steelers handed him any one of those deals, I don't think any one of us could flinch at it and say, oh, he's not worth that.
I don't think there's any real answer to this. I was thinking about the Commanders and where they are defensively and what they could need. And then also, while Jaden is still on his rookie deal, how you have to cash in. They got so close.
Yeah.
NFC.
They have the money to do it as well with him being on a rookie contract. Where my mind goes on the Steelers side of things, AR, if you and I were Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin, we're thinking, okay, we want to get probably at least 1 first-round pick from them, maybe 2. I don't know at his age if you're getting that. But whatever draft compensation you get back, you don't want that to be attached to a bad or good team, right? That's the other part of this that's tough, is that if we do business with the Washington Commanders, that first-round pick that we're going to get is probably going to be early to late 20s and maybe even later than that. And so how do you what type of value do you deem that as? Is that something that you truly would value? Or do you want to find another dancing partner to where you think this team's outlook isn't very good and the draft pick that you get back is going to have you picking even higher? But the flip side of that is TJ is going to say, well, I don't want to go to that team. And so there's always a lot of moving pieces with this thing. Again, I don't think they should trade him at all. I think you keep him.
I'm looking at teams, the other teams that, like, listen, the Cowboys would love him, right?
How do they pay him and Micah?
Pair him with Micah?
He's saying, I want a new deal right now. I love what you're saying football-wise.
Chargers, they're a team that
I see the vision there. Yeah, I see the vision there.
Wow, what a game changer that would be.
No doubt.
The Commanders, to me, offer the roster for a chance for him to make a Super Bowl.
What about the Rams?
Certainly, NFC, I'm all for it.
Young defensive line group with Jared Verse and that gang over there. My thing, though, is if I'm TJ, their right now looks good, but I'd have to ask, like McVay and Stafford, how long is Stafford going to be around? That's the other part of this, too, is because I think right now, if the Steelers and Rams did business, the Rams are already, to me, a really good team on paper, and I think will be in real-life football. But they add a guy like this, then you're really on to something.
The team that would never happen, even though they're NFC, the team that would want it to happen, but I couldn't see it happening, would be Philly.
The in-state trade?
The in-state non-conference trade. That would be unbelievable. If that team,
oh my goodness,
got after it,
you get him with Jalen Carter.
Yes, that's right.
Night.
What would that deal mean for him? Because he's going to get an extension in 26 too.
Who's that? Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
and that money's going to be sky high with how elite he is.
Then Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, they all get pushed down the. Yeah, they don't want any piece of that.
No, it's a limited pool of teams.
They don't want TJ Watt.
No, they do, but it pushes them down the line as far as like getting paid and money and all
but if
that.
you're in your Super Bowl window, you can't be thinking about 5 years from now.
Keep going. You're
like, oh no, Cooper DeJean might not re-sign with us.
Yeah, let's get TJ Watt right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
My gut is telling me that Pittsburgh and TJ Watt will figure something out. I don't think he's playing for another team this year. What's your gut telling you at the moment?
No, I don't see it from both angles. I see the Steelers not getting rid of their franchise guy that has a few years left that they should probably pay.
Yeah.
And then I also see them having a problem on really trying to move him and getting someone to pay him what he wants and give up a lot.
You got to pay him. I'm never in the camp of, let's let him walk and get a comp pick. Not for a guy this good. Other guys on the roster, fine. This is a one-of-one guy at his position. One of the handful best pass rushers in the entire world when he's right. And not only that, he does everything. Holds up against the run, turns the ball over. He does everything. So you keep him, you pay him, and you figure everything else out. And hopefully find your young quarterback in the offseason.
I'm not saying it wouldn't make sense either way, because you could save a lot of money by dealing him now and loading up on draft capital. You could. But it would be counter to what they just did.
Yeah.
Just go out and get a 41-year-old quarterback. But the difference is that Aaron didn't cost them.
It's a year deal.
Quarterback money, like real big starter money.
Right, and it's only for 1 year.
Telling you, 2027 cap space.
You're in a mini rebuild, and I can't figure it out. It's kind of a weird.
These are the rumblings. We got a bunch of old people with expiring contracts in the near future. And then when they all expire, it's a bunch of cap space.
Yeah. Be interesting. That's for sure.
Buck wild in the draft, too.
We're about to go buck wild.
You love going buck wild.
We're going buck wild right now and handing out a family 4-pack of tickets to the Good Guys 27 Summit Racing Nationals, July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center. 614-821-9710 is TLC's hotline number. Earlier in the program, we had new CBJ playmaker, defenseman, two-way guy. He does it all. Out there on the ice,
Power
Charlie Coyle.
Guy,
yeah, he does. Yeah. Charlie Coyle. He has 2 dogs. You can name one of those dogs. You get that to TLC.
Not
the
both,
name
Maddie?
One of his dogs.
Only one.
You will get a family 4-pack of tickets to the Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals.
Extra points. Give them a star if they name them both.
I'm about to say because the answer to one of them is on YouTube in the chat.
All right,
Well, don't tell them when they can go get the answer.
Oh, that's going to take them too long. They're not going to be the first caller with that.
You want the answer? Go to the YouTube chat.
Yeah. Oh,
There's
phone's
the phone.
ringing.
If you want to win the tickets, just cheat. We'll be back with Tell the Truth next. Rothman Ice and the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Central Ohio contractors and homeowners. Tired of overpriced, low-quality cabinets? Well, it's time to upgrade your cabinet game. 3D Cabinetry is your go-to for fast, hassle-free service and cabinets you can trust from order to install. 3D Cabinetry delivers fully assembled all-wood affordable cabinets. No delays, no stress. Just quality craftsmanship delivered on time every time. Get started with your free consultation today at 3dcabinetry.net. That's 3dcabinetry.net, where quality meets affordability and reliability.
Cool cars, cool people, good time. It's the biggest and best hot rodding event of the year. The Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals presented by PPG. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 classics from across the USA. Shop the swap meet at Huge Vendor Midway. See which rides take home the crown of the 2025 Classic Instrument Street Rods and PPG Street Machine of the Year. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
When it comes to home improvement, you've probably asked yourself a few key questions. Is the salesperson trustworthy? Will the company follow through on their promises? And is the work going to be a lasting solution, not just a quick fix? At Newman Roofing, we get it. As a locally based, family-owned company, we know how hard it can be to find a contractor you can truly trust. For over 33 years, we've been providing homeowners across Central Ohio with reliable roofing solutions done right the first time. When you choose Newman Roofing, you'll be greeted by value-driven professionals in clean company vehicles and crisp uniforms who show up with a smile and take the time to answer your questions. Because for us, it's not just about the roof. It's about protecting your home, your family, and the trust you place in us. If you're thinking about your roof or siding, call the local company that puts integrity first. Newman Roofing. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here to help keep you on the road so you can soak up all the summer fun. The road tunes.
Take me out to the ball game.
Hotel pools. Emergency ice cream stops.
Scream for ice cream.
The sunscreen and bug spray everywhere. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here for it all. So stop in for a quick oil change before you go. Only takes about 15 minutes. No appointment needed.
Bishop and Friends.
When he would just talk by himself, the promos, it all changed with The Rock. I mean, he changed the way that you do it. But Mach would be on there.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Seller.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
The Valley Ford Swing into Summer Sales event is happening now. Over 650 new Fords with huge pre-tariff savings, plus many with Ford employee pricing or even lower while supplies last. New Escape starting at just $25,990, up to $8,500 off Edges and Explorers, and up to $14,000 off F-150s too.
Hey, it's Stephen Kwan. Steal the better deal at Valley.
Get to Valley Ford of Columbus in Hilliard.
Delaware County Veterans Services is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Give Delaware County Veterans Services a call, 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment.
The champs are back. Ohio State football returns to the shoe this fall with powerhouse matchups against Texas, Penn State, and more. Your Buckeye Saturdays begin at ohiostatebuckeyes.com, where you can grab single game tickets that are on sale now. Gear up and get ready for game day.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
All right, TLC, during the break, you tell the truth. Who knew that Charlie Coyle's dogs are named Bodie and Gracie?
Well, I will say Matty Ice made it easier on him, and he needed it, but he got it. He got Gracie the girl.
Okay.
The answer that was in the YouTube chat was Bodie the boy.
Okay. Well, it's Bodie boy, right? That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Because somebody commented, so he named his dog after Bodie Wells, you know.
Shout out to Bodie Wells.
But Smash.
Of course he did.
And so it was Ryan in Westerville, who also said, hey, tell Matty Ice I said what's up. I married his next-door neighbor growing up.
Wait, hold on. Ryan from Westerville married my neighbor when I was... Did you get who he married? Did you get the name?
No, I didn't ask. I didn't know if I should.
Okay. Well, regardless, shout out to Ryan. Shout out to his wife, who apparently I grew up with. I'm assuming this was in Melrose.
Yes.
In Pickerington.
He did say that.
Yeah, so I know the family that he's talking about. Wonderful family. Loved it. I used to go over there, jump on their trampoline all the time. Have a good one. Good time.
Why'd you stop?
They kicked me out.
Because he's 34.
They kicked me out. They kicked me out.
Go now.
I don't even know if they still live there. I drive by my old house every once in a while.
Just knock on the door.
He's
and
got a
say,
bad back.
Do you have a trampoline in the back?
I do.
I want to relive some of my younger days.
Shout out to you, Ryan. Thanks for listening, man.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Now you tell the truth, Lounge Lizard.
Okay. No, how about you tell the truth?
I've got I've got one for you.
I didn't know you were actually asking me a question.
We cooked this up during the break.
Mm-hmm.
This is fun.
If I could offer you I'll give you the Khalil Mack deal. The Bears gave up
2 firsts,
2 firsts, a third, and a sixth to get Khalil Mack. Now, the Bears also got a second-round pick and a conditional fifth, but let's go with the 2 firsts. If I gave you 2 firsts for TJ Watt right now, would you do it?
I would pack his bags and drive him.
Of course you would. You'd be really tempted to do it.
Okay. Here's the problem, though.
Ice, if we got 2 firsts,
100%.
Then we
Here's
can
the
get to
thing.
the top of the draft.
Just hear me out, because I understand where you're coming from. I just don't think 2 firsts are going to be on the table.
Probably
because
not.
At the time of said deal, Khalil Mack was 27.
That's right.
So in the 2018 season, he was 3 to 4 years younger than what Watt is now. And so I would be surprised if a team gave up 2 first-round picks just because of the age in this.
Oh, he's got
All
a
right,
whole
so-
contract younger.
Yeah, right. My boy, Roscoe P. Coltrane, of course. Great tag. He'd take a first and a third. He says Watt's production seems to drop off as the season moves on, and that if he is healthy, he'd even trade him to Maddie's Ravens. Oh, he put Marty. What do you say about that, Marty? Marty.
That was a typo. You know,
I don't know if it was. I kind of like Marty McFly. What do you think?
Oh, I would do the deal.
You would give the Steelers a first and a third for TJ Watt.
Because we're a roster that's ready to win now. And so that would be worth it.
You're
to
already
me.
great against the run. This would help your pass defense because no one could get a pass off, maybe.
Oh, my goodness. The league was cooking us last year through the air. I would do that.
Trade him to the Ravens, would you?
I mean, that would really take some of the excitement out of it. I got to be honest.
You want to talk about coming back to haunt you?
Man. Yeah, and you know those 2 firsts are going to be
low.
Like
he said 1-1. Yeah, he said a 1 and a 3.
No, he's taking a 1 and a 3. I started it with 2 firsts just to see if I could, and you saw it. He ran.
I mean, look,
to pack his bags.
If one of those firsts is 30th overall, okay. If it's 32nd overall, no thank you.
That means we won the whole darn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tough part of the business, man.
Yeah, it is.
As much as that would help my own team, I don't know if I'm willing to help you that much to help myself.
I'll say this, though. I mean, TJ Watt, last 2 years, he's played 17 games in each
Actually, you
season.
know what? Honest to goodness, I'm more tired of the Chiefs than anybody. So if you guys can beat them, that'd be
Anybody.
cool.
Just anybody knock them off.
Yeah. I mean, preferably not the Ravens and Bengals for me.
Yeah.
But
listen, it wouldn't be the first It's not like no defensive player of the year is ever not traded. They get traded a lot, or at least several times. Guys have been traded over the years. Not a lot recently, but it happens. And Maddie's point is right. Mac, at the time of the trade, was 27, you
27.
said? 27. That's the difference. That's why you can get 2 firsts.
That's the extra one you can get. Huh. All right. It's good stuff. We took over Tell the Truth today.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
okay.
Well,
I can carry those over to
there
tomorrow.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Less work for me to do tomorrow. Fine by me.
That's what we're all about. That's what we're all about on Rothman and Ice.
I'll do one.
Are you familiar with this O's the Mentalist?
No. If you aren't familiar with our podcast, you should be, because that's how you can catch up on everything that we do. Wherever you get your podcast, all you have to do is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3, we'll be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. Bet365 is the exclusive sports betting sponsor of the Rothman and Ice podcast. Common Man and Timmy coming up next. They'll talk all things Jackets, so don't move.
And Rothman and Marty will be back tomorrow at high noon on a Rando Tuesday. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah? The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
Dick's epic 4th of July sale is on. Get summer ready with 25% off select Stanley drinkware. Get 20% off Igloo coolers and water bottles and select bog bags. Buy one, get one 50% off DSG coolers, canopies, chairs, and water bottles. $200 off Callaway AI smoke irons and TaylorMade QI10 drivers. These deals won't last. Stock up for summer now, in-store or online at Dicks.com. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Austin Ward here. Did you jump into Awaken 180's Lose 40 by the 4th offer? If you did, wasn't it simple? People think losing weight has to be difficult, but it really isn't if you have the right plan, the right support, and if you're eating to lose weight. If you missed 40 by the 4th, no worries. There's plenty of summer left to hit your goals. Barbecues, golf, pool parties, all included with Awaken 180 weight loss. Start today and start dropping weight your very first week. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here to help keep you on the road so you can soak up all the summer fun. The road tunes.
Take me out to the ball game.
Hotel pools. Emergency ice cream stops. The sunscreen and bug spray everywhere. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here for it all. So stop in for a quick oil change before you go. Only takes about 15 minutes. No appointment needed.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
The second longest game in Reds history, a 20-inning affair, played on this date, June 30th, back in 1892. Chicago and Cincinnati to play the Reds. And by the end of the 5th, the score was 7-7. You might think the clubs would have used relief pitchers by this point, but in this era, starting pitchers usually went the distance no matter the score. And so the starters were still in the game. And evidently both got their second wind. For over the next 15 innings, neither allowed a run. Both starters pitched the entire 20 innings. The game was finally called because the Chicago club had to catch a train. Don't think you're likely to see a game like that again, but it happened on this June 30th, 1892, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.